Okay, and we're live.
Woo!
Yeah, woo indeed. Welcome to the Tea and Pretzels Podcast once again. We're going to be talking about the recent happenings in Gamergate. Yeah,
With
I think
Mancusian, an expat, and a colonial.
yes.
Oh, it's Mancunian, isn't it? Not Mancusian. What am I talking
Jacob, if you would like to introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah. I'm Jacob Shafto. I'm some guy. There's probably no description of me that wouldn't be simultaneously pretentious and woefully inaccurate. So I'll just go with hi.
Fair enough. That's a pretty good description, really. Well, I think we're going to start off the podcast on a bit of a somber note. I think all of us here would like to share our, because I meant to do it last week, but we didn't actually end up doing the podcast last week for no particular reason.
Well, there was a reason, and that was that there was another bigger stream going on, and any viewers who would have gathered would have been people who would have had to miss out on the bigger one instead.
Yes, indeed, and that I was being very thoughtful. So I'd just like to send our condolences and our support to Cytherea, friend of Mercedes Carrera in the porn industry, who about 2 weeks ago ended up getting assaulted in her house. Mercedes set up a charity event for her, and I personally would like to send my condolences and support her way. I think,
with you there.
Sorry, you go, Jacob.
Oh, I was just saying, with you there. Like, yeah, violence and the bad pants are never good alone, let alone in combination. So, yeah, unfortunately, my empathy as well as my sympathy.
Yeah, the violence in general sucks, and this definitely does. And what I'd like to talk about when it comes to this specifically is Mercedes Carrera, the Gamergate porn star, and I believe did she start the porn charity, or did she just participate in it? I think she started it.
I think she started it. She started it. She was the face of it, more or less.
Oh yeah. Well, she definitely still is the face of the porn charity. Well, they started and they decided to do a porn stream specifically dedicated to Cytherea in order to help her out and send some money her way in order to help with like legal fees or whatever was needed. And Arthur Chu, our old friend.
Oh, good old Choo-Choo.
Choo. That's all I can say to that.
Choo-choo, the train never stops.
Choo.
All aboard the Lolcow Express.
He decided to call out Mercedes Carrera and say that supporting the porn charity when it came to Cytherea was a bad idea, and it was supporting Gamergate secretly, and it was all, but yeah. Basically, trying to tell people not to support a charity that was helping an actual rape victim.
Yeah, us and our weaponizing of charity. Bastards, one and all.
It was our charity to begin with.
What I love about that, even conceptually, the whole weaponizing charity, is there's my partner has worked for it, like she doesn't now, but she worked for a charity for like over a decade. And if there's one thing charities have, is we don't care where the money came from. Like, it's up to other people to like vet that stuff. Like, if the government lets Al Qaeda give us $1 million, we don't give a crap. We've got $1 million to do our charity work. It's not about them. It's about us getting what we need to do what we're doing. So the idea that we can somehow make a charity dirty with money is
I dare to disagree. There has been a charity that actually there has been a charity in the course of Gamergate that Gamergate offered them money, and they denied to accept it. They didn't want it. It was dirty money.
I think Jacob was referring to just charities in general. Whether that incident, I'm fairly sure I know which one you're talking about. Are you on about the one that TB promoted, or are you on about the
No,
one?
no, the one before that.
Yeah, the one that the
Gamers.
porn charity was going to originally donate to, and was saying, no, we don't want the
Exactly.
porn charity's money.
Able Gamers.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want your filthy gamer money.
Well, that's their own loss. I mean, charities in of the whole don't ask where the money came from. They're just happy they got money. Beggars can't be choosers and so forth.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
But the reason I want to talk about it is just, specifically with the Arthur Chu stuff, it's just, is there any lengths these people won't stink to? I mean, they're literally saying, do not support a rape victim here. Support us who had some mean things said to us on Twitter instead.
I think this is a bit of a principles versus partisan politics thing. I think Chu views and whoever supports Chu in that regard views Gamergate as a right wing thing, because we're going after left wing extremists. So of course left wing extremists are bound to see us as a right wing group.
Well, technically, from their perspective, pretty much anything that's not them is right wing. So,
I don't think you can get any further left wing.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is, to him supporting this charity, it doesn't matter if she's exactly what these feminists are about, because come on, this is 100% their topic.
Oh yeah.
This is their time to shine, and they don't shine. Why is it partisan politics?
It actually reminds me. There's a very big I've seen it in particular from Baptists in the States, but I'm sure it's not exclusive to their religion. And they have this big thing on automatically discounting anyone who doesn't believe the religion but quotes from the book. Like, people who don't believe can't prove you wrong with your own logic. Like, they're not allowed. So on that same rationale, if we're somehow saying that supporting women who've had bad things happen and happen to be sex workers is a good thing, then clearly we must be lying and trying to turn their own ideals against them, warp their perceptions of reality, and we should be fought at all times when doing this.
Well, something similar some of us are definitely doing, and that is showing them up for their hypocrisy by showing an example where they can show that they stand to what they claim to stand for, and they don't.
Well, yeah, that's what we're actually doing, but they have to reinterpret it in such a way that they're still the good guys. And it's convoluted, but it seems to work for them.
And, this is just it's similar to for instance, NOW. That's more in the area of gender politics, but it's gender politics versus partisan politics at that point. The NOW made a huge fuss around Bill Cosby, even though he's actually there wasn't never any evidence against him in his case, but they didn't make any.
Listen and believe. Listen and believe. Why can't you listen and believe?
What was that slightly rapey American president called? Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
They didn't make any fuss around
slightly rapey.
It's
It's just
He's gonna have that as his description from now on. Just slightly rapey. Just a little bit, not too much. Not too much.
Yeah.
But he didn't really rape anyone, did he?
He'd finger you, but he wouldn't rape you. I mean.
Yes, more of this.
It's similarly a own politics versus partisan politics thing.
Well, yes. Just thought I'd bring that up. Next up, unless anyone else has anything else to say on Mercedes. Oh, yeah, that's actually one thing I wanted to add. Just full information. Mercedes Carrera did send information to Feminist Frequency to try and get them to support her. And just so you know, there's been. Oh yeah, she went
to all sorts of feminist groups.
Yeah, I just specifically Feminist Frequency, given the amount that they go on about how they're pro-feminism. Just like to point out that there has been radio silence on that side. There has been no response, no nothing.
That one's actually
that's what really makes me angry on them. It might not sound like it, but I got really angry over this because the feminists constantly talk about rape and how something is rapey and how something is microaggressions and objectification and blah 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 blah. They for one single time have a real rape victim, and all of a sudden they are useless. They are silent.
Yeah,
They just completely silent.
There were black youths. That didn't help them. They're already having enough trouble with the insurrection on their side about all of them being white and middle class. So it's just there was no political gain that they could possibly make out of this. It was brought to their attention by Satan himself, Gamergate, and to top it off, I mean, feminist frequency. One of those weird little asides I'll occasionally go on. Femme frequency are rad femmes. They're anti-sex, anti-sexuality. You know, sexualizing women is bad. Let's all wear plaid shirts. Boobs equal evil. So they're not on the side of sex workers. They're not. They would see them as collaborators with the patriarchy on a fundamental level at best. So they're staying silent mostly to keep their own mob from turning on them with the pitchforks. I actually think that's been one of feminist frequency's greatest PR successes, is managing to just appear pan-feminist and non-judgy and totally with everything that feminism stands for and nothing it doesn't, while actually actively working towards furthering their own agenda of all sex equals evil and icky and men are just rapey and yuck. Because some of them like a good fingering, let me tell you.
Oh, you can speak from experience, can you?
I was born and raised a feminist. It's not like I had any other. Yeah. Do you think feminist guys can pick up normal girls? Like, how many women do you think get turned on by our respect and value your opinion and wish to listen more? It doesn't happen.
No, I can definitely speak for that. It doesn't. Okay, so off that, I guess the next thing we have is lots and lots of game journos have, after the SVU episode and the glaring success that was. I mean, so it was just brilliant episode, great writing. Ice-T's performance outshone anybody's in the entire movie industry, in my opinion. I mean, Steven Spielberg, eat your heart out. This is the new thing here.
He topped his 10-year high of being a fake rapper. He played a fake rapper for 10 years and it was genius work. But now he's managed to play a fake rapper badly, playing a fake policeman badly. It's just
badly being a gamer.
it's like this, Inception level acting genius.
Ironically, Ice-T is actually does play games in real life.
Yeah, so, that must have killed him on the inside.
So I'm wondering if he was saying all his lines, thinking to himself, I can't believe I'm saying all this right now.
Just saying his lines. You're just saying his lines, just imagining the paycheck, just saying to himself, it's worth it, just keep going, Did you see his face during the episode when he asked where does he play his video games? Did you see his face? It's just so bad. But anyway, the reason I brought this up and the reason it's still relevant is the fact that the game journos have started to back off after the SVU episode, basically saying, hey, this episode ain't our fault, don't shoot the messenger, and like that.
That one's so great. They wrote it. I mean, it's written off their not so much everything they said, but everything they were insinuating here. Sooner or later, they were all trying to warn that sooner or later gamers are just going to do this. We're gonna if we can't drive women out of the industry, we'll do it any way we can. So sooner or later, we're just gonna form into level up gangs and stuff.
Level up gang. Yes, I want this.
And don't forget being high professional terrorists.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine
Oh,
that,
we can.
the SVU writers took inspiration for Acid Rain from all the Bane posting, from Batman and all the Bane posting, because
Yeah.
for instance, the kind of stuff like the scene where they abduct Raina Punjabi and then the lights go out and everyone panics
that
and you
name.
hear in the background "No social justice in gaming." These.
Yeah, 'cause that's totally what gamers do.
Mate, we just can't handle women in gaming. I mean,
It's just,
I love that she actually, even when she says that, it's like that scene. She doesn't need to say the level up bit to make it ridiculous. Just the moment she says that, with the blood coming off her chin, it's like they just can't handle women in gaming, and it's like the most retarded response to why did a bunch of guys just beat and rape me in a bathroom? It's just so blatantly, just, huh? How did you get there from there?
It reminds me actually of lots of religious propaganda. If anyone sat down and watched anything that the religious groups have put out, hardcore religious fundamentalists have put out, it really reminds me of the SVU episode.
Actually, never really watched that.
Go home, gay girl. Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, at least in that circumstance, you've got the ridiculous religious pseudo logic of we'll teach her to be straight. But it's like, what are you going to teach a gamer girl to do by that, other than be massively traumatized? I mean, it's not like it's going to teach her how to fucking ping headshots better or stop asking for free stuff on WoW. It's just not connected.
Oh no, the hot chicks will always ask for free stuff in MMOs. It's just the natural order of things.
Yeah, I give it up as much as anyone, and I know it's pathetic.
I haven't because I'm greedy, and yeah.
I do mostly because I play MMOs for maybe 3 months at a time at absolute outside, and then break out and quit.
Actually,
I go, oh my god, what happened to my life? Hot chick,
in
take this. I'm out.
Multiple years of World of Warcraft, I never really did this. I never gave charities to random half-naked night elves.
Specifically the night elves.
It's always night elves.
Where your underlying racism comes out.
In World of Warcraft, it's always night elves.
What about gay blood elves?
Nope.
See, I always trusted a girl more when she played a blood elf than when she played a night elf. I mean, maybe it was just my rule, but
I told you, it's the underlying racism is slowly seeping out. We just don't like night elves. No night elves in gaming.
No, it's more that whenever I see a night elf, I see the girl who loves it, and I see a fat goth girl in an inappropriately small corset with just too much squishing out, and I had sex with that already. I'm sorry.
That is a road I've trodden down.
Did anyone of you ever watch Farscape? Because they made a similar joke to that once.
Oh really?
Ooh.
It's basically it's a space opera show, with all sorts of aliens and so on.
Oh, I know it. It's kind of it's Muppets in space, isn't it? It's like Jim Henson stuff.
Totally. Yeah. One of the aliens is a blue plant woman, and then the main character has a sort of a dream sequence where he is back on Earth, and everyone tells him that all of the TV show never happened. But among the people telling him that the TV show never happened are the aliens from the ship. And one of them is this blue plant woman, and then she is his psychiatrist. And then he tells her, "Look, there are some things that aren't adding up. You're blue." And then she just looks at him in a not very happy manner, and asks him, "Do you have a problem with people of color?"
Oh, that one still gets me, like that new term. Where did that come from, and why does it? It's the equivalent of white people are goyim.
It's political.
There are two races. There are only two races: people of color and whitey. There are only two races.
It started off as blacks, and then it became black people, and then it became afros, then it became then it became Afro-Americans, and then it became African Americans, and then it just turned into people of color, so that it can then include Arabs and so on.
And Asians and such like.
Asians and Native Americans, because they were traditionally known as Redskins, so kind of.
That's one of those fascinating things I should point out to everyone who's from anywhere other than England, and that is that you guys class Indians as Asians, which, while being entirely accurate, confuses everyone else on Earth for some reason.
Look, we're just ahead of the curve, okay?
You mean Red Indians right now, or
No, like
Indians from
to
India.
own them, as opposed to the you didn't want to own them Indians.
guess genetically they're not. Strictly speaking, on terms of the map, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Asian is in from the Asian
Continent.
area, even though they're from a separate subcontinent. It's a subcontinent. Maybe that's what confuses so many.
I prefer basing these kinds of definitions off the genetic components. So to me, Indians are white. Ironically.
Well, they are. I know the Aryan people came from there, so that's a bit of a.
The short version is they're
downer
white
for
people
Hitler.
who then adapted to the sun. That's really what the Indians are.
To get this conversation of races back on Gamergate,
Yeah.
I'll move on to the next thing. Oh, thank you. Will you let me? Am I allowed to?
Yes, you're allowed.
You may continue. Have you guys seen the conversation that Sargon of Akkad put up between Breitbart and Como? Between
Yes,
Breitbart
I
and
know, yes.
Yes. Have you seen
No,
that?
although I do love Sargon, so I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, do. It's a good conversation, and I bring this up specifically because, I mean, it's a Como, fairly big news website, and they decided, and also Breitbart, fairly big news website as well, and they came on Sargon of Akkad's stream to talk. And that's the bit that I find interesting. I mean, they could have very easily done it as an interview and put it on either of their websites, but instead they decided to go on a stream with Sargon.
Well,
I find that interesting because it seems that the big supporters of Gamergate are actually getting a little bit more clout and a little bit more recognition.
And it also indicates two more things. One of them is, of course, that one of the reasons, of course, Sargon of Akkad is rather neutral ground, while on one of their own sites, each one is on their own site. But it also could mean that in the future, similarly with YouTubers in terms of video games, news coverage becomes more and more YouTubey and less conventional channel-y.
Oh, well, yeah, we were seeing that coming a mile away, like the advent of the YouTube reviewer. Like, we were seeing new methods being used to review games or to keep the viewers interested in the product that they were giving. But
what I mean is this happening in general political news as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Pac-Man. That didn't happen in my day.
Yeah.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm old, and I look at Pac-Man, and I'm like, what is this? It's just a kid in front of a camera with a pretentious-looking microphone on YouTube. That's how I came across him. But, the moment I get into the content, it's like, well, this is actually better than anything I'm ever likely to see on any news channel, on any television I've ever been sat in front of. So, I'll watch this.
Pac-Man just he doesn't have much, but he's just really he's really professional in what he does.
Oh yeah,
He sticks to being professional.
Yeah,
I'm in love with his split
That's why.
between stating his opinion, but the questions he asks aren't weighted. He'll do both,
yeah.
and I find that fascinating and quite ethical.
That's why, despite actually being anti-Gamergate, he openly said he's actually more on the anti side. He ended up making positive pro-Gamergate contributions just by giving Gamergate as a platform and being professional at the same time.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't he basically say that? He basically stated that he saw a lot of Gamergate's point, but he felt that there were more important things in the world that we could be spending our time doing rather than Gamergate, which is something I hear quite often. Is that Gamergate's all well and good, but isn't there more important things in the world that need to be solved first?
Yeah, why are you putting your energy into computer games, you basement-dwelling neckbeards?
Basically,
some real stuff that I care about.
Yes, but that argument, I think, falls flat very quickly because that argument is very often brought. So this is a good opportunity to talk about this argument. And is, for all you know, this might be the dawn of a whole new wave that stretches across video games. It might get back into comics, into science fiction. Like Sci-Fi Gate or what it was called.
Yeah. And into general news. Into just general news.
A whole wave of new empirical movements that start here. So this is where it matters, but it can stretch across everything. And the other reason is
kind of like telling people, "Oh, don't be postmodernist." Back when that started, like this is a big thing when it happens.
For instance, the other reason is all these the video game news. While the video game industry is a big industry, if you look at the numbers themselves, just as an isolated thing, then it is a big thing. But game news is, in terms of within the media branch, a rather small branch, which is, by the way, one of the reasons why we have the problems that we have, because some of the journalists that are editors in internet publications right now, like for instance GameRanks, they're just people who they're like teachers used to be. They're people who failed in other areas in journalism and evaded into this is how teachers used to get into their professions. Yeah. There's no need to laugh.
It's the old adage is if those that can do, those that can't teach.
Those that can't teach PE.
And those that can't do journalism properly, they get into gaming. So game journalism is still a very small thing. And if we can't even get game journalism sorted out, then much like Internet Aristocrat said, if we can't even figure out games journalism, then good night. Everything is lost because there's a lot more money in other news branches.
Well, all it takes is a year. I think
corruption.
All it takes is a year with any given cultural output. All it takes is 1 year to break it. If you had a year with movies where every single movie that every single reviewer said was awesome was fucking shit, you'd have a whole generation of humans, several generations, all just less interested, less inclined, and less likely to go watch a movie. It's just what would happen. Everyone would be over it. It's like every time I go to see a movie, it's shit. Why would I see a movie? But they only go to see the movies that are hyped. So if you have the same thing where everyone's just promoting their friend's game, their friend's shit game, or the person they're fucking's game, or the person they're throwing money at on Patreon's game, and they all turn out to be shit, people would get it. The industry would die, literally. There wouldn't be enough money flowing through it all of a sudden because people would be off games. You'd find something else that was more fun to do, and you'd do that. It's just...
That's probably one of the reasons why the AAA industry is starting to figure maybe towing the party line isn't such a good idea in the long run. Maybe we should look for something else because if games stagnate the way they do right now, if we let this stagnate, games publications hyping up games that are complete shit, conning people into spending money and being disappointed. In 8 years, we're gonna have 1983 Mark II.
Yeah, like how many alien colonial marines in a row would it take to just kill it? Not many, I don't think.
So this This is a turning point. This is where we can save video games by promoting cleaner game news, and game news sites, and game news YouTubers, hopefully.
On that topic of promoting games that people know just aren't that good.
Are we getting onto?
I'm going to bring up a topic and a new game that's just recently come out, The Order 1886.
Oh, okay.
Indeed.
Do you wait, Kelvin? Do you watch thing by now? Event status.
No, I do not.
Okay. Okay.
Just yeah. The reason I bring up the Order 1886 is because this was meant to be the PS4 flagship title. Well, not flagship title, but it was meant to be the next big thing for the PS4. It was meant to be the thing that PS4 fanboys could yell at Xbox One guys and be like, "Yeah, we've got this, so suck our dicks." But
fuck you and your X-Bone, dude, bro.
Exactly. Doritos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it turns out not that great. Fairly lackluster. Looks pretty, but that's about it. Now, as we all know, the marketing push for the Order 1886 was quite bloody hard. And when the reviews came out about it, in fact, the reviewers also just took a giant dump on the Order 1886. The actual people who pre-ordered it are regretting it. The people who bought it immediately on day one probably also regretting it and are looking to trade it in. Yeah. Recently, one of their, I think it was their lead PR guy, came out and said that, you know, we should pull our ads from these review websites because all these reviewers just want to take a shit on our games. Which was then
he said maybe we should no longer buy your ad space.
Yes, which is
should not even pull our ads now, but just
it's a really dumb thing to say. Like,
he basically said maybe we should stop bribing you.
Yeah.
Why isn't he just? Everyone knows what buying ad space is. Why isn't he just honest enough and come out and say we'll stop bribing you if you keep shitting on our game?
Well, the thing is,
hey, if you're gonna come around here and occasionally trash my store, maybe I shouldn't be paying the mafia for the protection money. Like,
yeah.
Huh? You say that to their face? Like, did you think?
Well, yeah, this is a really dumb idea on this guy's part. Like, apparently he's the gameplay designer. He actually has nothing to do with whether or not his company, which I can't remember the actual company name now. It's really irritating me. But whether they buy ad space or not, he has nothing to do with it. He just decided to come out with this bullshit and go on a bit of a rant.
He might regularly talk with the people that do. You don't know, but
considering the tweets,
he'll have a job in 3 weeks.
They were deleted, I'm pretty sure, the day after, and he was told off for putting them off.
The Messenger article, and then the shit with 1886. It's just there's a bit of a culture of threatening people becoming more and more obvious and more and more blatant recently. Can that be?
Well, I just thought I'd bring it up because, yeah, turns out that even devs want to pull it off.
Well, this time with the devs, it was for a different reason. It was because the journalist didn't do his part in the whole trade.
Yes, he bought the good review and he didn't receive it, and he was pissed off about that. Okay, so next up, what do we have here? Oh yeah, there was a cracked article, 5 reasons we need to take video game addiction seriously. And the reason I threw this in is because we seem to be seeing a regression of the argument. I mean, it started with games cause violence, games start school shootings, and that's why we need to ban them. And that was the whole Jack Thompson era. and it was pretty much debunked. And Jack Thompson was laughed out of his position.
Yeah, just
And
like if those kids at Columbine had just climbed some stairs, those kids who trained using Doom wouldn't have been able to aim upwards now, would they?
the solution to
That was
school
the thing.
shootings,
They-
we just put everyone on top of tables.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Dalek defense method. It's just things that can't deal with stairs or angles just ruins their shit.
Yes, I support this method of keeping our schools safe. Just put everyone on top of tables. Done. But the reason I bring it up is we seem to be seeing the whole argument of games cause violence coming up again. And what do you guys think? What do you guys feel on that? I mean, they claim sexism, and
You start, Jacob, because I've got multiple things.
I'm very simple on this, and I will paraphrase Bill Hicks on this one, as much as I don't want to be derivative. When he said his great line of "You think secondhand smoke kills people? You should take my cigarettes away. You'll all of a sudden find secondhand bullets killing people." In the same way, I've been managing almost every antisocial and unnecessarily violent urge I think I've ever had in my life through the medium of gaming, and it makes me a far better human being to every human being I ever come in contact with. And that's the be all and end all right there.
Well, it goes back to the whole idea of social conditioning and the idea that what you view influences what you do in real life, which is true if you don't know what you're viewing is fiction. I don't think that, when I'm playing Bayonetta, I spin an angel over my head, smash him to the ground, and crush his skull under my stiletto heel. That is also a gun. I'm ever going to think that's reality.
Well, that's one of the more believable things in Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
from that perspective, the difference between, say, training in martial arts, where what you're doing is focusing every day on seeing a face and punching it, whereas if what you're training in every day is beating someone in a game and then metaphorically teabagging them and going, "Sucks to be you, noob," the worst thing you're going to be is a bit of a dickhead when you get one over on someone. That's all that's training you to do. Is to be a dick and be a sore winner.
Basically, yeah.
And what I think with this whole new violence thing is, firstly we've got to remember they're not those types aren't really in it for the gaming. They're just feminists who think gaming is unused propaganda potential, and they're all at some point all the rhetoric of violence against women, blah blah blah, is bound to come up. So and video games have violence. So and at the same time they're all about inclusiveness and including female characters. So if you include female characters in games where there's a lot of fighting, there's going to be violence against women at some point.
Yep.
But
including women in the violence, and that's the problem. All women characters need to be perfect in every way, immortal, invincible, and also be, 70 stone.
That's why, for instance, Jonathan McIntosh actually is against games that focus on combat as a game mechanic, because
and that's fine, and that's okay. There's tons of games that don't focus on violence as a game mechanic. Yeah, there's tons of games that don't.
Has he seen Candy Crush? Has he played Candy Crush? Does he know how much of the industry is devoted purely to Candy Crush?
We're talking about Jonathan McIntosh. That means, if he says he
thinking,
then that means people are going to try and censor it. We're not talking about someone who states his preferences on video games. We're talking about someone who has people who willingly try to censor stuff.
Yes, I remember he was saying recently that he was excited for an indie game that was coming out that was basically a gardening simulator. I mean, personally, I couldn't think of anything. Actually, I could see the appeal of a gardening simulator. Like, I'd imagine that'd be quite zen. I'd imagine that'd be quite relaxing, but I don't really think every game should be that.
Farming sims, so I mean, why not that too?
We'll get to that later on again. But the other thing is, there is a bit of a trend. There is a bit of a theme regarding what games get censored from both extremes, from both partisan extremes, and that is if on the right, if you allow those to censor games, Christian conservatives, if you allow those to censor games, you're gonna end up them firstly trying to shut down games that contain violence like GTA 5. And games that conjure sinful thoughts, like Bayonetta or Hunipop.
Yes.
And on the other side, you have feminists who think games that contain violence, like GTA 5, should be shut down, or hatred, and games that objectify women, like Bayonetta or Hunipop, should be shut down. There is a bit of a theme emerging.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they really want a medium of clothes. There's what is the uniform that women are allowed? Because bikinis are bad, but burqas are bad.
I guess we have to be thankful. Imagine it wasn't Christian fundamentalists. Imagine it was Islamic fundamentalists.
Yeah. Well, there would be. They'd at least have the decency to put out, Infidel Smasher 5. Like that would be acceptable.
Imagine Bayonetta in the burqa.
Plane simulator.
Yeah. It'd be like Holocaust 2. The revengeing.
You just brought up a good point. It's like, what can women wear in video games that would be acceptable to these people? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking maybe one of those "This is what a feminist looks like" T-shirts. Then I thought, wait, no, because they'd be too tight and it'd show too much cleavage if they were wearing one of them.
Yep.
So not even their own T-shirts, I don't think, by their own logic.
No, but I think in medieval Europe, women wore very, very covering clothing. They even kept some of them even kept their hair covered, and all of their body strongly, so in a way that doesn't accentuate their shape. And I presume if in video games women wore medieval clothing, then they would be happy.
Unless they wore medieval reenactment clothing, then it'd be horrible again. Because those women just have tits all over the shop.
You mean fantasy reenactment?
Oh yeah. Well, haven't you been to like Renaissance Fair-esque, where people do their lame half-speed sword fighting and say prithee to everyone, and there's always like 15 chicks having a midlife crisis, cramming like 10 pounds of sausage into a 5-pound crust velvet bustier.
Yeah, no, reenactors really take their thing seriously.
Oh, yeah,
it's really serious business. If you have if you have the slightest historical inconsistency,
there's two branches here. There's the minority one, which is going for accuracy, and there's the unfortunate majority ones, which are, basically ponces who like big norks in dresses that wenches would wear, and being fobby twats. They do like actual quarter speed fighting rather than learning how to fight without killing each other. So it's hilarious to watch. It's more LARPer grade than reenactment by any standard. LARPers. Is there anything they can't do?
I know a couple of LARPers, and they're interesting people to say the least.
I know some LARPers too, and the thing is just I actually like LARPers more than the reenactors, because the LARPers they're a lot more liberal with a lot of things. They're less about history, and they're a lot more about fantasy and imitating or creating similar cultures to medieval culture. Whereas reenactors, at least around these parts, reenactors really take it dead seriously. If you get the slightest detail wrong, they're already done with you.
LARPers, they're willing to have a laugh. That's generally what it is.
Pretty much.
So LARPers are like sort of almost your middle of the road, well-meaning, not hating of anyone, and just wouldn't it be nice if we were nice to each other feminists, as opposed to the SJWs of the reenactment world, who are like, if you step the slightest inch out of line, we will dogpile upon you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Tom, yeah.
Back on topic, yes. The general theme that I'd guess is that if women wore medieval clothing, went back to wearing medieval clothing, at least in video games, then they would be happy.
But corsets are inherently sexual, so I don't think they'd be.
You'd have to have your more your shapeless shifts.
I mean,
and whatnot,
everyday woman's clothes, really covering.
Yeah, everyone basically wearing a Hessian sack.
Basically, get them a bunch of bin bags. Just get them bin bags, cut a couple of holes in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good game. Next up we have again something that happened last week and we didn't get to cover, which is the Kern petition. Mark Kern.
That's got interesting of late, hasn't it?
Yes. What are your guys' opinions on the actual petition? Have you both read it? And
I've changed it multiple times, and I read all the changed versions. I was one of the radicals in the very beginning. I was the one who wrote him a tweet longer explaining to him how the initial iteration of the petition really it accused us of having started it, and it accused us of being the problem. It was only after people carried all sorts of pieces of evidence to him that he started changing the petition.
Well,
and in the end, it was holding the news outlets accountable.
He did change the petition, and I think that's something we need to give him credit for. He said something, he got it wrong, and then he corrected himself. I mean, that to me proves that he is more balls than most journalist outlets nowadays.
Yeah, that's worth points. Being able to go, oh, my bad. That's always points in my belief that you're actually human. But
forget that it wasn't the only dev that started speaking up after the SVU episode.
Oh no, a couple of them.
I think he was one of 4, and Ken Levine was one of the more vocal ones, and he just got neutered. He got his spine torn out by this VG247 article.
Yes, I'll be moving on to that fairly shortly. I was just curious. Okay, considering he's changed the petition quite radically. I didn't actually see the petition when it first went up, but if you're saying it blamed Gamergate, then it must have changed quite radically between then and when I saw it. Have you guys signed it, or are you planning on doing so? Or
I've not.
You've not?
I've not, but mostly because of entirely personal, odd-brain stuff to do with not signing petitions, just wholeheartedly. I've signed some, then thought more on it a week later and changed my mind drastically and gone, I nailed my definitely agree with this on that, and that's on the internet for the world to see for the rest of time, and even I think I'm a dickhead a week later, so not doing that again.
I didn't sign it because, as far as I understood, this is something for the devs to sign. This is something for the devs to get into and to take a stance for, because we as the consumers have already taken a stance against these news outlets. By now, the petition doesn't really state much more than that.
Well, the petition also, and Mark Kern just in general, seems to be trying to... He's not pro-Gamergate, he's not anti-Gamergate, he's trying to create a bridge, create some sort of crossroads where we can have a civil discussion with the other side. Now, if any of you follow him on Twitter, I do, you'll see I've witnessed the slow degradation of a man trying to do that. It really was quite sad, really. Just seeing him start off with such high hopes, and now I'm pretty sure he's just going, you know what? Gamergate is happy to have this discussion. A lot of people in Gamergate are saying, yeah, we're happy to have the dialogue, we're happy to have the crossroads, let's discuss these issues, let's get them out there, let's get our concerns a proper good look in and sort this shit out. And what he's realised is, no, it's the anti-Gamergate side that's just being completely out there and not wanting to have this conversation.
By now with
Yeah.
how, did you notice a trend with him of becoming increasingly, I'd say, provocative with certain news outlets?
Yes.
I'm suspecting that he is below the surface by now on our side.
Oh
The thing
yeah.
is that he
Oh, yeah.
acts while not being currently employed by Blizzard, for instance. He is acting in the name of the AAA devs. But the thing is, the AAA devs can't just instantly say, okay, now we're pro Gamergate, and suddenly say no, now we are absolutely against these news outlets, out of reasons that an average person from the outside can't instantly comprehend. So he needs so there needs to be a certain history before that of news outlets openly antagonizing the AAA devs,
Which they
and
are
he
providing.
is sort of provoking them into doing that.
Well,
Yeah,
they
it's
are
sort of hard for anyone. The one thing the social justice warriors are good at is linking whatever they don't like with the mother of all evil, and getting that message out there quickly and consistently. That's their one skill, if anything.
Yes.
And so, Gamergate is misogyny is just this sentence to anyone who knows of it but doesn't understand it. And so coming out publicly in support of Gamergate without having done groundwork to erode that is just not good business sense. And I can appreciate that. Sad and stupid though it may be.
My
So putting
suspicion
up your
as
hand
to
and saying, yeah, I'm
suspicion
with
as to what he's
McGinney
plotting
fuckers. It's like, no.
is that he's trying to create a history of this happening. The AAA devs reach their hand out. They reach their hand out for an open discussion with anti-Gamergate publications, and the anti-Gamergate publications decline or even declare war.
Yeah,
And
bite the
if that is
fingers.
his plan, then it is definitely currently succeeding, because you have the VG247 article.
Oh yeah, that we'll definitely be talking about very shortly.
I
In
think
fact,
this
I
is the
think after
time.
next. Yeah. Well, I'll start with the petition, and so yeah, as we all know, Mark Cohen wrote this petition. VG247 wrote an article, basically slamming Mark Cohen for doing so, and saying, "Don't shoot the messenger. The SVU episode wasn't us. Fuck off. You don't know what you're talking about."
Not just that. Not just that. The threat in the end of the article.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. What was it?
Okay, wait. Shoot the.
If you're about to look it up on the actual site, if you haven't got an archive of it, I'm about to tell
I
you
have
why
an
you can't.
archived version of it.
Okay,
Don't worry.
cool.
Have they pulled it down already?
Yeah,
visited their site.
they removed the article from their website
Oh,
without
Okay.
any sort of without any apology, without any reason to really. They
Just
didn't
all of a
make
sudden
any.
realizing that didn't do
Probably
what
a
we
good
wanted it
idea.
to.
Yeah. Well,
Didn't
Mark,
happen.
after that article, the hashtag Let Mark Speak went crazy
Yep.
on Twitter, which was basically us saying, "Look, you've written this shitty article about Mark Kern. Let Mark Kern defend himself."
I'll just read the end of the article, because that's really where the threat is in. You're being suckered, and certain elements are obviously confused as to the real issue here. There's a lot of rhetoric of sexism in gaming and how women are oppressed through video games, blah 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 blah. Okay, real issue here, which is helping to ensure the video game industry, be it development, the press, or simply the action of playing games, is inclusive, non-sexist, and non-abusive. As was made blatantly obvious by Gamergate, the last thing the gaming community needs at this moment is more ill-informed bigots getting angry on the internet. Think before you sign. It may be very difficult to erase the ink.
Oh yeah. You're
An
signing
open
your
threat.
name to your own blacklist.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
And he
didn't
knows,
realize they went that far with it. Jesus.
and
Okay.
VG, he knows that VG247 is part of more or less a politically motivated syndicate. He knows that by now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
and-
sign, and we all turn on you instantly.
But yeah, basically, after that article was written, after that threat was made by VG247, the hashtag Let Mark Speak went crazy on Twitter, trying to allow VG247 to let Mark write an article or have an interview or respond in some way to this article and defend himself, basically. That hashtag, by the way, I believe went over the Brits. Like the hashtag, the Brits 2015, it did better than that. So,
We could like that.
People wanted this, and as I previously stated, now the article has been removed from VG247. It's no longer there. No one knows why. No public statement has been made by VG247 as to exactly
Although
why.
we can make many an assumption.
Yes.
Probably some editor noticing, threatening the AAA might have not been such a good idea, and then taking down the article.
Yeah, they might even have got one or two emails privately from devs going, "Hey, this is the kind of shit that will make us all rise up against you and smite you with heavenly fury."
Kelvin and Jacob, have you two been around at Conspiracy Times? Just before Gamergate.
No, I wasn't.
Not at the times, but that got to me on a number of levels.
Because back then, when all this political stuff came out, the Digra being behind the Digra and DARPA being behind the Silver String, and Silver String putting into place efforts and incentives for news outlets and getting into media, and there was a lot of talk in those leaked excerpts on how games media are verbating more powerful than you think.
Oh yeah.
They went for the power that you can have as a news outlet, and I think that due to that, those news outlets have forgotten that the AAA devs wield a lot of power as well, maybe even power over them, because AAA devs can for instance, with online publications, they depend on clicks, and people are going to give the clicks to whoever has the pre-release copies to review the game before it's out. So of course, with that, AAA devs already have something to put an influence on which publications get more money from their reviews. And another thing would be, for instance, the bribing. The buying of ad space. And there's an assortment of other means through which AAA devs have a lot more power than these publications or the people in these publications have initially thought, and that is now gradually dawning on them.
Yes.
Because the Silver String
I do not
thing.
disagree with that.
The Silver String thing was all about journalists are powerful. We need to harness that power. That was what it was really about.
Yeah, we need to get our academic viewpoints out into the community rather than just all talking in our own little echo chamber. What we need to do is make the media our echo chamber.
Yes, and now they're starting to be, the pendulum is swinging. Now the AAA devs are saying, look, we have power too, and we're becoming increasingly willing to use it.
Yeah. Well, also, I think what's fascinating about their underlying philosophy is the whole, if people see something often enough, that will just become their reality. It's a very postmodern philosophy that's just kind of silly and, disproved by everything we know about the human brain. But
it's not really postmodern because it's really antiquated by now.
Yeah. Well, postmodern as a title from the 20s or so, as opposed to it actually being a modern thing. More capital M modern era than otherwise. But
because
it's
communist states used that modus operandi in the past already, so it's not really something new.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's very old. It's thoroughly outdated, and not supported by any evidence. But the thing is, because they believe that, they then come into the media going, "We'll just say our thing, and that will become the new truth." Because truth and reality are these flexible, amorphous concepts that depend on one's perception entirely.
If you remember. Alexander McCree, the owner of The Escapist, he published a thing on cultural Marxism where they use that in between too, where the School of Frankfurt would disregard any existence of real facts. There is only consensus. So the closest thing to a fact is when a lot of people agree on it. So the only thing you can do, so any scientific research or research in general, doesn't really exist, and the only thing that exists is convincing people of something.
Yeah, well, I mean that was behind even Nietzsche and his statement about God is dead is misrepresented by most people. All he was saying was that now that enough people don't believe in God, he's no longer reality. And so that's it's very weird. It's like Terry Pratchett with his book Small Gods. It's that very essence that if you believe in something, it makes it real somehow. Which I can believe in the tiger in my bedroom all I fucking want, but all that does is make me a dickhead, quite frankly.
As fascinating a conversation as this is, I think we should really bring it back onto onto topic.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
No worries. If this wasn't a Gamergate streamer, I would happily let you guys ramble on because it was very interesting.
I'll ramble. I like being brought back to something that approaches a path.
To a certain degree, it is on topic. These are the types that we're dealing with.
Oh yeah, no, it is. But
to finish the thought just really quickly though, that was the philosophy. That's the philosophy they had when they took over the media, and they're still reeling from the fact that it doesn't work. They know it works, and they've put the message out there, and they keep saying it, and we keep not believing them. What the fuck is the problem here?
I think I didn't get to that by myself.
It's like they're still pushing on the door with the sign that says pull and being frustrated that it won't open.
That's a nice metaphor. I like that visual imagery. Alright, so next thing I'm going to link you guys to an article. If you've read it already, don't say anything quite yet. I just want you to read the title and then read who the author is of this article, and then laugh. Then just laugh, because I think it's...
Now I'm curious.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's in the chat here on Google+.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Law and Order SVU Intimate.
Yes. Okay. For those of you that are listening, it's the Law and Order SVU intimidation game is not what games are about. Written by none other than Leigh Alexander. Alexander.
I actually read this the whole way through for the comedic value of watching someone backpedal visibly. It was fantastic.
I don't even know anymore.
It's paragraph after paragraph of no. When I said kill all niggers, I mean I've got plenty of black friends. Like, it's just watching someone sweating when they realise, oh, was that mic on?
Let's be fair. She said she never said nigger and she never said killing. She said violent backlash against violent cultural backlash against hoodmen.
So basically, not murdering niggers. It was let's beat up people who live in ghettos. That was basically what she was saying. Not necessarily murdering, but I mean, still pretty
doing
condemning.
more your dog whistle politics of we've got to deal with the crime in the urban areas.
I'd rather no. She later back then. She later did specify that she meant black people. So I guess we should just phrase it politically correctly. And that would be
physically
she never said nigger.
That was That was who were the ones who were saying we should beat up nerds?
Oh,
Was that Nimrod again?
Was that Sam Biddle? That was Sam
What
Biddle.
he said
Yeah,
bullying,
Biddle.
bullying nerds into submission.
Yes,
Yeah,
bullying
yeah.
nerds. That was Sam Biddle.
He's the one. He's the one who basically dropped the N-bomb repeatedly.
Yeah, the end.
The
The true
N-bomb.
N-word nerds. We are truly more oppressed. Lol, lol, lol.
But I did know of this article, but I've always found the most ironic thing about it. You know how these articles sometimes have small passages written in big letters, and sometimes they're quotes, sometimes they're actual lines from the article.
Yes.
This one contains this from Lee Alexander. Let's remember the stuff that Lee Alexander wrote in the past. Okay, I didn't think these guys were going to hurt me, but they follow me nonetheless. I shouldn't need security. I'm a video game critic. I'm nobody. I'm nobody.
I'm nobody.
I'm
And
nobody.
this is
From-
the person who, quote, I believe she actually said, I am games journalism.
Yes, she was the party woman back then, really. She was
No.
really.
Je suis mommy.
I'm warning you. I'm a megaphone, and I can basically ruin your reputation. I don't remember what she exactly wrote there, and she also wrote "Silly Kids." I am game journalism.
I just like to juxtapose some of this. Like, there's a quote here where she's saying, "It's all very corny and ugly. This isn't what games are about." In the Law and Order article, and I just pulled up her her original article, the "Gamers Don't Have to Be Your Audience" article, and just to quote this, just to give you an idea of how far she's shifted. Quote, games culture is a petri dish of people who know so little about human social interaction and professional life work that they can concoct online wars about social justice or gaming journalism ethics, straight-faced because genuine human consequences because of video games. What? Yeah, I mean, how do you go from that to it's all very corny and ugly, this isn't what video games are about, when it's a Law and Order episode that is basically quoting you?
It
like,
seems to me a bit like this reeks to me a bit like back when first The Escapist went full anti-Gamergate, and then Defy Media made this policy shift and the ethics policy and
The Escapist went full anti-Gamergate. What?
yes, in early I think it was early Gamergate times, even not even conspiracy time. Early Gamergate.
No,
time.
The Escapist was one of the only websites to allow discussion of the conspiracy to continue even
Yes,
after.
That's because the editor that was in charge there, he was definitely an anti-Gamergate. He was full on SJW. The whole ideology stuff, the whole rhetoric. He read it, he wrote it. You should read his emails in the mailing list of the GJP, and how either Ben Kuchera or Nathan Grayson urged him multiple times to forego his integrity and do censor the discussion.
Oh yeah, but he didn't, and that's the big thing.
But the Escapist went full anti-Gamergate in early Gamergate times, and then
they had Movie Bob and Jim. There's no way they couldn't.
Defy Media then later on published the ethics policy and looked for a more amicable policy to go about all this, and it reeked to me a bit like the kids were in the house, the Jim Sterlings and the movie Bobs. Oh wait, the movie Blobs, and then the parents came home, Defy Media and Alex McCree, and said,
look, why is the carpet on fire? Why is there jam on the ceiling? What's going on? You're fucking grounded.
They kicked the kids out on the street to starve.
Yep.
And it seems to me like
disowned.
Similarly, Lee Alexander had her own superiors not really ground her, but bring her back to the back back into reality, because she was really having a bit of an ego trip. She was really a bit of a cartoon villain in early gaming times.
I've honestly, like, I saw her, what was it, the TED Talk or whatnot, where she's talking about how, I want to see my enemies on fire and protect my friends, and yeah, I'm biased and I don't care and all of that. And I, honestly, in my head, I had the worst period in my mind about myself was when I was smoking meth daily and on a megalomaniacal, I am the most awesome man who ever lived, and it stopped having that tinge of irony and self-deprecating humor that it started with. And there was about a week of that, and I look back on it and I shake my head, and I'm like looking at someone like, she's not visibly mentally ill. She's not on meth. How are those fucking words coming out of her mouth? I said less ridiculous shit that I look back on and can't believe came out of my mouth. And here's her, like, publicly, and they're applauding her. That's not helping people.
Well, because those news outlets have a lot of PR people in the background. So maybe among those PR people there are some actual professional PR people who then told her, look, what you're doing here is suicide. You have to go about it in a completely different way, and they told her how.
Humility moves units.
Oh yeah. I was waiting during that TED talk. I think it was a TED talk. During that talk, for her to just go like, "Hey, Blair Alexander, what's your ethics policy? To strike down my enemies and hear the lamentations of their women." I was.
It really was that kind of...
It really was that ridiculous. It's like, why?
It sounded like a manifesto written on toilet rolls in a shed somewhere in, like, Montana. It's... Because the government don't control that paper.
Yes, this was part of during the when the SVU episode aired, and all the outlets suddenly backed off and said, wait, this is it now that someone is actually depicting what we've been writing for months. It all looks extremely silly.
Yes.
Looks like they actually lost historically. The same thing happened with Reefer Madness. You lost all your complete middle of the road. This marijuana thing is bad and makes people crazy, and all of a sudden you're watching it and going, nah, it's not that fucking bad. Jesus, okay, I'm out of here. Like, so all of them are like, it's definitely this. Any minute, like, there's Sarkeesian constantly linking school shootings to masculinity, to toxic masculinity, and gaming to toxic masculinity, and the fact that messages make people behave certain ways, and games can make people sexist, ergo games can make people violent, and Elliot Rodger, and blah blah blah, and it's like, then the episode comes up and it's like, no. No. Look at all your stuff in drama form. No one's falling for it. I mean, the weird juxtaposition of gamers is because in order to be taken seriously as a violent threat to people, the gamers had to be clear-skinned, buff dude bros. So they had to be jocks to intimidate people, yet they were actually nerds. Yes. So you're seeing the guys who beat up the nerds in high school playing the nerds, and it just the dissonance just burns.
Yes, that really flies under it to me when these acid rain people seem to be depicted so extremely capable, so extremely powerful in many ways, and it just makes me. Aren't you sort of overestimating gamers a bit? I mean,
yes, we do get angry for no reason, and we get really angry. Have you seen the rage when someone's pre-order is delayed? When the release date is delayed? We get way more angry at that than we'd ever get at Sarkeesian, and I haven't seen a single GameStop employee, like, mugged at gunpoint for their fucking copy. Like, it's just... Like, if we could organise that kind of kidnapping, do you think I could have had fucking Arkham City within 2 months of them saying I'd get it? Like, fucking, I'd have been in their offices with an AK, I tell you, if I, knew where to get one, or cared to move at a rate that might lead to some kind of sweat occurring.
Yes, it's just when shown on screen, it was just so silly that so many outlets had to back off. And this article, in terms of timing, was exactly that.
Yeah, it was like, oh, no, that wasn't us. But they've all done that. Like they all like went, oh, this is going to be great. No,
and certainly some of the PR people behind these outlets are trying to look for some amicable way to end this. But on this, I definitely agree with the event status. Let it burn. Let it burn. They've forfeit their right for an amicable resolution.
Well, I mean, Escapist did it amicably. I thought the
Escapist took a more professional route from the start, and they resolved.
Jim Sterling, I liked. Jim Sterling was ethical with his stupid. He said, "These are my beliefs, and I'm going to rant about them." I didn't agree with them. I didn't like the man, and I could still watch his shit.
Well, Jim
did a lot of very unethical stuff.
But
Jim Sterling actually said that doxing was okay. Yeah, that's Jim Sterling for you.
And Jim Sterling.
I've watched that. I've watched that video in which that's implied, and I have a little issue with it. He starts nodding at what the guy next to him said before he then says that, and he's already nodding when it comes out of his mouth. And while I don't see a particular look of distress in his face, he's already going, I'm in agreement, and the nodding, like, you can't stop a nod and a dime, and it's kind of hard when you got a colleague next to you to all of a sudden turn around in front of a group and go, have you fucking lost your mind, dickhead?
He had his opportunity to contradict.
He did.
And he didn't.
He's had weeks afterwards to say, like months now, to say, actually, that guy was a shithead.
And he was being, he also is pro-Sarkeesian. And he's been caught lying about video games in the past.
Yeah, but not as much as Movie Bob. Movie Bob I hate. Movie Bob I hate with a burning passion.
Movie Bob's the kind of person who yells out that gamers shouldn't call themselves gamers because they shouldn't identify themselves with the form of media that they like, because that's just asinine and
stupid.
Movie Bob. Notice the first half of the name.
I watched like 2 videos of his. They weren't like next to each other. They weren't adjacent on the website even. But I was just watching 2 videos I hadn't seen of his. In one he goes on about people criticizing things without knowing the fucking minutiae inside and out, are despicable and disingenuous and just liars, and anyone who ever tells you that you should distrust because they're just complete cunts. And the next one is all these whining man babies crying about the ending of Mass Effect 3 should fuck off because they're entitled, and I should know because I haven't played the game and I don't need to be able to say this.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh my god, like you've got your hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is on the record.
Yes,
you hate what you're now saying.
Already said some things that to me already killed him. You know his attitude in early Gamergate times really killed him to me. This kind of you gamers are what we need to get rid of for gaming to advance.
Oh yeah, that whole.
I thought. Look, you don't cry for You don't, especially when your narrative is that these people are bad because they want to get women out of gaming. If you're saying you want this demographic to get out of gaming, how are you supposed to be the moral authority? This makes you seem worse than everyone else. And that's why Movie Bob was dead to me from the start.
Yeah. Oh look, be fair and reasonable. How in God's name is anyone with a head like that going to get laid otherwise? It's not like he's got money.
Does he need to?
I mean, I hate it when MRAs bring things down to that level. I really do. There's something about this, beta supplication, blah, 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 that really gives me the irrits. But sometimes with some people like Movie Bob, it's like, you're not charming, you're not that clever, you've got a head like a smashed crab lovingly nestled in a hatful of arseholes with a porn tash and like Coke bottle glasses to really be nature's way of saying do not touch. You've got to have some way to say, women, I am worthy on some front, even if it's just some kind of pathetic meat shield.
The question is, does he need to? Is there a necessity?
Well, he could just wank. like, you know, any decent person. There's a certain point where you've got to say.
His selling point to women is, look, if anyone insults you, I can eat them, so...
Or just sit on them and absorb them through osmosis.
But generally, no. Movie Bob was dead to me from the start.
Yes.
His attitude was just too far gone.
And same here. I was in that.
Never liked him much, to be honest, in the first place. But
I thought
yeah,
he was
the Escapers had them, and they were big draws, right? They were their big money cards. So to go against them kind of seemed in the short term to be counterproductive and stupid. So they went with them. And so they went with them for a time, but then they got to discover this was actually counterproductive. That, you know, having people who like the new guy said, like the new editor said, like they don't think it's a good business model to actively insult their entire consumer base.
Yes.
Oh, really?
It's like, oh, that didn't take you long to realise. It's like, Gillette, because we hate you, you whining hairy cunts.
Toyota, drivers don't have to be your audience anymore. Drivers are dead.
Yeah, you fags, you run over fucking children, you scum. You should stop driving cars.
Oh, the customers are angry because the insides of a car can release some sort of deadly toxin. Don't be so entitled to have a proper car for a full price.
Whining bitches, breathe that new car smell in. Cancer's what you deserve.
Don't be so over entitled.
It's like, I'd just love to see Jeremy Clarkson go on a rant about how everyone should ride bicycles and fuck cars anyway. I mean, it's that level of shoot yourself in the foot stupid.
And then starts doing Top Gear about bicycles. That I would pay to see. That I would honestly, I would pay good money to see that. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that would actually be, if Clarkson did that and did that for an entire episode, and then ended it with, and that explains Gamergate, and left, that would be the end of it.
Yeah. GG, we have Clarkson, what are you going to do?
And you can no longer call us misogynist because Clarkson will take every one of those accusations and turn them.
He will smile in your face and spit on your girlfriend. To stay on the Escapist.
It's funny because it's true.
Okay.
To stay on the Escapist, the latest news from the Escapist is that they've hired a bunch of pro Gamergate people. Probably one of the most prominent one was Lizzie F.
Yeah.
Which my suspicion is
who last we saw, we were all keeping stum on the fact that she got doxxed by the fucking Addies.
Yeah, she got doxxed, and we were all like, well, shit, that fucking sucks. And Bath, I believe, were going after whoever.
My suspicion is about her that you know we getting doxxed is rarely really a big threat. Really.
Yeah, it's not.
For instance, if you move to a new place and you have hardwire telephone, you know, not just a mobile telephone but a normal connection, then you're already doxxed. Everyone can look up your address in a telephone book.
Yeah, it's all know where you live, and my cousin is in a bikie gang. Like it's that grade of.
I mean, if
you haven't worked out. Yeah, if you haven't worked out not to be too worried by that by the age of say 20, you're going to live the rest of your life in fear pretty much constantly.
Well, I'm still
my
good
suspicion as to why she backed out of Gamergate as a response to that is that you remember how Milo, despite obviously having a very pro Gamergate slant, is multiple times said that he is not part of Gamergate. Mm-hmm. That's a reason. There's a reason for that, and that is if he would be a massive hypocrite to be a part of Gamergate and at the same time report on it as a journalist.
Yeah.
Because then his
then it'd be biased.
Yes.
Well, he still is already biased, considering he's
already biased, but
it's acknowledged.
It would it would violate certain journalistic integrity rules that if he was part of Gamergate. So Liz, of course, had to back out if she wanted to have any hopes of covering Gamergate at a later point in time.
Do you think she backed out because she wants to write about it, or do you think it was just convenient? Because as far as I was aware, that she backed out because her family was starting to get threats, like they were threatening her.
I think that the doxing was convenient. That's what I think. I think that without the job offer, she wouldn't have backed out in response of the doxing.
I actually took the whole thing as her backing out, so as not to become the story. Like, don't get sidetracked by me getting doxed. Don't make this be my fucking big woe is me victim narrative. Just keep on those guys. I'll be back later.
She did sort of keep with that story after the dox. Like, she did constantly say, like, I got doxed, don't make a big deal out of it. Like, it just happened. I'm gonna quietly disappear. Although she is back now on Twitter and stuff. She's not talking about Gamergate, but she is back, just generally. And yeah. And they hired a couple of other people at The Escapist. I can't remember. I remember she was the big one. I think Brandon something Brandon.
Brandon Boy?
Oh, hang on a sec. It's gonna
something Brandon-y. Brandon-esque, definitely.
Yeah.
Why? Which Brandon? Context.
Yeah, The Escapist has hired multiple Gamergate people.
Ah, okay, then I don't know his last name. I don't know who you mean, but
Culprit or something.
Well, it's
I don't know why that
whatchamacallit, Oliver Campbell might be doing some work for them. Liana Kay is now employed by them, and there's another guy who I can't remember his name. And if you ever listen to this, I apologize. I don't like you, so I don't know.
Just everyone else's name we don't know. We don't insult you. We just don't exactly remember your name right now.
No, I'm insulting him. No, I'm insulting him. I'm starting online beef.
I'm so crippled on this front because when people tell me, "Oh, these are people from Gamergate," I've been in the Facebook page for a few weeks. I've followed the whole thing. I'm pro Gamergate. I've seen Twitter grabs, but I don't even have anything to do with Twitter. I mean, if you've heard me talk, how in God's name am I going to boil a single thought of mine down to that few characters?
No, Twitter's a horrible place. There's this hive of scum and villainy. Just don't.
Yeah, I'd be rage posting within about 15 minutes.
We have to be thankful.
Like compound swearing.
We have to be thankful in so far that when it turned into Gamergate, Twitter was where it was at. Twitter was where everyone took it, because Twitter couldn't violate its own policies, shutting all discussion of it down.
Yeah. Even though the feminists
and it's only over time that
championed that great tactic of false flagging people's accounts to get them temporarily kicked off Twitter.
Yeah, well, that only works temporarily. That's the point.
Yeah, but they still get their victory, we got rid of them, and then just ignore it when they come back. It's
yeah.
That's why if you look up Thunderfoot is still here. He's back.
Yeah.
He came back later on. And it was a mob that was actually organised by Anita Sarkeesian.
What happened?
I don't see a world in which you could shut Thunderfoot up. Nor should he be.
I just found, what happened to Thunderfoot? Because I never heard much.
Okay,
about
basically
them.
there was a you know that there is this community of let's call them Twitter feminists, because they're not Tumblr feminists, they're Twitter feminists.
Yes.
You know what's that extreme this racist extremely left, too left for the HuffPo Asian girl called
Sui Park.
Sui Park, yes, the Sui Park type.
Oh, Sui Park. Sui Park is what broke feminism for me entirely. It was like, oh right, everyone else sees
it. You're not allowed to.
I thought I was mental. Like, I thought the whole time I had these issues and these questions, and they just get dismissed, and it'd be like, well, clearly I'm just not getting it on some level. I'm just mentally just messed up on some level, and the processing doesn't happen that should. Because I keep having these questions, and there she was, just making every one of them blatantly, obviously a decent question to fucking ask, and one they couldn't answer. And
Yes.
and that great flourish of the I'm not going to enact the labour.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
going to
exact-
answer your question because you're white, so that means you're racist. That's basically.
Yeah, you're racist for asking me. It's like
Yes,
Brianna with
and,
the whole this is a hit. This feels like a hit piece. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
it
the Anita
feels a lot
Sarkeesian
like
crowd
journalism to me. Like, you should
got
try
the Twitter
reading
feed.
one of your hit pieces sometime.
The Anita Sarkeesian crowd, or even herself, got the Twitter feminist crowd to launch a false flagging campaign on Thunderfoot, to keep him shut down.
Oh really? I
They
wasn't aware
succeeded
of
for a
that.
month.
Huh. So
Yes,
he's come back now.
Yes, they flagged tweets with his videos, where he with his Anita Sarkeesian videos.
Yeah.
Thunderfoot goes after everyone really.
Oh yeah.
Every
No, he goes after.
Yeah.
He just goes after stupid in general. So.
Yes,
It's
he
just
goes after religious
currently feminism,
fundamentalists,
Scott.
feminists, anarchists, everything.
Yeah, it's just that right now the feminists do seem to currently contain the richest veins of highly concentrated stupid.
Yes.
And before it was the I remember him from back in the fighting Ben and Bang X on his why does everyone laugh at creationists videos. It was he's just not a fan of dumb, and whenever he sees it amassing, it's like let's break that up. You people stop talking to each other because you're just encouraging each other.
He goes after everything that he considers religion, and social justice in general just has a bit of a religion feel to it. Well, not just a feel; it has some clear similarities.
Oh yeah. It's mimetically a religion, not no self-checking mechanism.
And I have
Circular
a suspicion
argument.
that the reason. I always wonder why does the perpetual Islamic community, the ones, the missionary types, and the ones who want to spread it, why do they latch onto that? Why do they pick social justice warriors of all the people as their ally? And I'm recently thinking maybe they sort of see maybe they saw that long before we did, and thought that this makes for a good gateway religion.
Well, I find that fascinating, that the people who use primarily as a justification for there are still problems that we need to deal with, so let's deal with manspreading, because look over there, burqas. But by the same token, anyone else says, hey, look at those burqas, those guys are why, you racist, evil people, how dare you point out their misogyny. It's like, what happened? What just did you notice? Like,
I think if it's all right, I'm going to move on to the next topic. Sorry, just remembered there was something I wanted to try out on this podcast for something new. I'm going to try and install a new segment, a new part of the podcast, and we're going to call this part of the podcast Woozle News.
Woozle News.
Similar, it's a play on Weasel News, which is Total Biscuit's thing, except about Brianna Wu. So Woozle News.
I thought of Weasel News.
She is a weasel.
If well,
I'm pretty sure she's a Homo rodentus. It's
human form.
Yeah, I always think she's a bit more of a seal or an otter or something like that.
No, she really strikes me as some kind of organism that can squeeze its body through profoundly small holes that would just impress you. Like that, you put up chicken wire, and the next minute you're looking, it's like, how'd you get on the other side of that?
I'm just gonna take that out of context. Brianna Wu can squeeze herself into small holes. Okay.
Well, she used to be able to, but see, I feel bad about that, because that's actually one of the shamey buttons that I've still got in me, and I have such trouble because I didn't grow up with Chan culture. I'm 38 almost. I'm ancient. I'm past it on that front.
Probably gonna die soon.
So like, yeah. So like, when I see people, the meme of the Jewy guy rubbing his hands just gets to me every time. It's like, I would so like, if I went on poll, I'd just get fucking, I would die if I spent a day on poll.
I was never introduced to Chan culture till Gamergate happened. I just had no idea what it was, and I'm starting to appreciate it now, and I'm starting to shitpost myself.
It's called the good boy meme.
What's
It started off by genuine. It started off by sentiments from genuine Nazis. I mean, I don't just mean ordinary Nazis. I mean genuine conspiracy theory Nazis, where everything that is problematic is a conspiracy of the Jews. And and then it's the Jew rubbing his hands. Whenever people say stupid things, then they post the Jew rubbing his hands, saying, "Haha, good boy."
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Now I'm getting it.
That's where the meme comes from.
The thing about it is, I think it's just the text thing for me, honestly, because I've worked in the entertainment industry for years now. So in the back of a truck, loading up someone's audio, you will hear some of the most profoundly inappropriate statements. Like, I got into that industry because of my girlfriend, and as she told me the first time I quailed at something someone said in front of her, she just looked me in the eyes and said, the first time anyone charges anyone with sexual harassment in this industry, the entire thing will collapse. Like, if you can't cope with someone making a joke about fist bucking you on the spot that is both appropriate and massively offensive, then get out of there. Like, immediately run screaming, because you're not going to last a day. And that I can cope with face to face. The moment it's in text, it just loses tone, and my brain just instantly goes po on everything, and I just assume everyone's evil. The moment someone goes, Hitler was right about something, so I'm like, what's wrong with you? If a friend said it next to me, I'd instantly be like, you fucking mad cunt. Like, it's clearly like some kind of cognitive defect in me, but I'm working on it. I'll get there one day.
Well, to get back to the origin of this, which is the Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu recently stated that she's not going to attend PAX because she feels threatened. And then she said she is, in fact, going to go to PAX, and then she asked for people to gang around her to help her, and I quote from one of her followers, crush GG skulls.
Yep, that guy. The giant blobbernaut.
I'm just gonna say, she's literally now, like, with not even hiding it anymore, she's recruiting an army. How is this?
Well, let's not give her more credit than is warranted. She's recruiting some thugs to beat up random gamergators. That's really
basically she's getting herself some black shirts. She's an ideologue. She's now realised that having a black shirt wing would be a dope move.
There's a reason why certain radical ideologies tend to have thug groups of people who randomly beat up people who are their targets. It's a matter of intimidation. That's why you'll see Nazis or Antifas randomly beating up people on the even moderately on the other side. It's merely an act of intimidation.
What strikes me about this, though, is the fact that she was doing this on a public forum. She was doing this on Twitter.
Yes.
Now, the thing that struck me about this is, sure, you'll see neo-Nazis beat up people, like you said, even slightly on the other side for intimidation purposes. Makes sense. I get it. The weird thing is normally you don't see them recruiting. You don't see them going, let's fucking meet up tomorrow at 12, Jimmy, and go beat up some people. You don't see that side of it.
That's actually
That's
when
been
you
a
when you
trend
put
that's coming up recently, but they're not the first ones. You know, radicals using public platforms that everyone could see, doing their stuff. They're not the first ones. What do you think ISIS was?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think
And
they're
yeah,
doing?
Just trolling
people are
ISIS.
known to dog whistle as well. Like, they'll be like, black people are the problem, but they won't say that. They'll say, urban populations are problematic, which is a nice way of. And there's all of that. What's scary about this, though, is that, when things are okay and society isn't about to break down into like Nazi putschs and so forth, then you can't really do that in public without being pointed out and laughed. Like, you can't go, well, let's get us some thugs together. The fact that she can do that and not only not get called on it, but get public responses by people looking to look good, that's kind of a bit terrifying, because times when that can happen are times when really bad things can happen.
They're radicals.
The white knight ideology is real. That's the problem. Is people will stand up for women, regardless of what they're saying, because the white knight effect is actually a real thing. It's not just a slur. Yeah. It does actually happen, and we're seeing it right now.
Yes, I think does the white knight effect really have? Can it really work so strongly with Brianna Wu? Because Brianna Wu isn't. I can't. A lot of the feminists wouldn't even agree that she's a woman.
Look,
all the rad femmes would be against it.
If you're desperate, you take what you can get. All right.
But it's also I remember that we're not such simple creatures. We're not just so one-to-one. We're a social animal. So sometimes you're buying a girl a drink at a bar not to sleep with her, but to show all the other women as well that you're the kind of guy who'll buy a drink at the bar without question. Like, you'll buy a girl a drink. There's this displaying to the masses that this is the kind of person you are. I advertise myself thusly. So if I'll punch people for a dried up tranny hag, like I say that in the nicest way. I used to shag trannies left and right. I'm the reason why I use that word, and I use it proudly, is because that's the word I was told to use for the people I was putting my penis in at the time. It was historically accurate, and fuck you if you choose to change the word. I know someone wants to talk about the coloured people because they're 80. That's the term they knew was acceptable. They were hip and cutting edge once, and then they got old. That's life. But yeah, if I'll do this for that, imagine what I'll do for you, honey. That's the message it sends. I mean, look at you. You've got tits and nice skin. Of course, I'll punch your dad in the face in public on camera. Come on.
Just let me hold your hand.
It's really because they're extremists. Because look at what ISIS was like when ISIS was a thing that came up. What was one of the big shockers with them was, of course, an adaptation from just injuring injuring enemies you beat to killing enemies you beat. That's, of course, one of the changes that made them into a bit of a shocker. The other thing is that they utilize publicly accessible platforms for completely unapologetically with gruesome stuff that is absolutely not okay, but they just have the blatancy to do that. And similarly, don't forget, we're dealing with extremists with these social justice warriors. We're dealing with extremists just like ISIS is extremists. So they're not going to be above that at some point.
It's black white, us them, good bad. Evil, lovely. It's we are the Jedi mindset.
It's the same mindset that Movie Bob displayed later on with his now often quoted, what was it? There are no bad tactics. There are only bad targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is hilarious. Which is hilarious to hear out of someone who we know doesn't support, torturing terrorist suspects for information or any of that stuff. But the moment you're on the wrong side with him, then it's perfectly valid. Yeah, we'll dox you. Well, some bitches want to set women's rights back. They should be raped. Like, what?
Well, yeah, that's what Wu's been doing, and I'd be curious to see as to whether that actually results in any sort of fighting. at PAX.
I hope so, and I hope it's on camera, because I know it won't be us swinging first. What it'll be is one of us asking too many questions, and her giving the guy the look. and then, the guy that'll sign up for it won't be smart enough to make it look like it was back and forth.
The Gamergate supporter will be slowly corralled into the back room where he's never seen again.
Yep. We'll be like, down. Let's talk about this downstairs in the basement, buddy.
He's just gonna be Brianna Wu sitting there at a table, and like standing behind her is just Geordie Tate, just like.
Vinnie Jones with a hammer and a bad look.
No, not Gas the Gamers. Nerd War Now.
Yeah. You heard that Brianna Wu was saying that, oh look, Gamergaters are looking to bring poison gas to PAX. How did I miss this earlier? Like they're threatening to bring poison gas.
What?
When you look at the threats, it's the anti-Gamergate threatening to bring poison gas.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I read that one. That was.
Anti-Gamergate threats. I love it. It's too beautiful.
That was just like. Just the question, and it is a question in the case of this person, and that's the truly sad thing. The question is, did she willfully misrepresent that in the hope of tricking a bunch of people, or did she just misread it like a fuckwit and jump to a ridiculous conclusion and make it public without checking?
Was it stupid or was it calculated? And I have a feeling. With Brianna Wu, it was. She saw the tweet. She just saw, gamer poison gas, and then she was just like, right, that's enough for me, and she was just rushing it out. I mean, even if you look at her mentality through her Steam page, when she put her video game up,
and she tried to troll herself in her own fucking.
Put on her own forums, is Brianna Wu a horrible person?
Yeah, like, in her own username.
She didn't realise that she was signed in as a dev and that her name would come up. So it's like, Brianna Wu. Is Brianna Wu a horrible person? Discuss. It's like, what?
My favourite is the only screenshots that she could have got are the same ones everyone else has, with everyone just going, nice try, hon. Good attempt.
Yeah, just like, hey, Brianna.
A for effort, F for execution. Like it's like even people who want to troll her couldn't troll her on that page. It was just you look at it and you go, "Oh, you've taken all the fun out of it."
Well, it's like the that other woman, Beowulf or something. Her name was, and it was just this random person who. She got a new job, and her team said that, you should troll these Gamergaters. They're really funny. You should. They're all bullies. And when she put it up, she put up a tweet saying that, like, apparently all Gamergaters are misogynists. Come at me. And then all the replies were just people going, "Hey, how are you? I'm having a good day." Fantastic. So everyone be like really nice to her. I was like, yeah, nice. Okay, moving on from that, we have a t-shirt company recently called themselves, I think it was 8-Bit or something like that, decided to start a new clothing line of t-shirts which have the slogan "Gamergate is hate" on the front of the t-shirt. Which, a lot of
if they amended that to of bad ethics in journalism, then I would be fine. Maybe it's a shorthand.
Dude, they should just show pictures of the front of the t-shirt that say "Gamergate is hate," and then every anti-Gamergater will buy it. But on the back, it says "hatred of unethical journalism." It's just like, damn you!
Red off.
And the Gators instantly got Gamergaters great running.
Yes.
With photoshops of Jonathan McIntosh Anita Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu being shopped to be recolored and be given long hair to look like Vivian James.
Yes.
And then with the Macintosh version, there's this little story of a little fun theory of how the orchestration of Gamergate was just a conspiracy of Jonathan Macintosh to get to bring ethics into the picture of this. Because
that's awesome.
People have been digging into Jonathan Macintosh, and the thing is, he got his experience from doing this sort of for-revolutionary stuff from Adbusters, which is a group that is against consumerism. A part of capitalism, of the current iteration of capitalism that we have, and they got, for instance, thing kicked off. What's it called? That thing that got corrupted later on. Occupy Wall Street.
Yes.
Oh, that.
So he's had experience
like
with
worms in an apple.
He's had experience with kicking off with getting pro-consumer left-wing movements started. So of course the fan theory that he conspired to start Gamergate all along was bound.
I mean,
as a joke in those
but that's
pictures.
genius. I mean, all of his tweets just make his side so hateable. How could you not? He's actively promoting Gamergate every time he talks in a roundabout way. That's I'm almost tempted to believe it. Maybe this was it. Maybe him and Sarkeesian are just these genius trolls who were set up entirely to get this shit out of gaming by lampooning it, because they are so ridiculous.
With the Gamergate is great thing, the counter to the Gamergate is hate hashtag that this company started. I'd just like to quickly give credit to 3 of the people, because this is one of the finally one of the hashtags I was involved with from the beginning. I was very happy with it.
In on the ground floor.
Give credit to the 3 people that started it. The first person is at I have this D3 and at Full Depis, and also me at Kelmateri.
Best would probably be if you write them all in the chat.
Oh yeah, actually that would be probably more useful.
And we have them collected for later on.
Let me grab that back then. There we go.
One needs the ability to know what's in there. Oh, there's a window. Hello. So this is how much I've used Google Plus. I've had the account since I decided I was going to join up with this one. So I keep seeing people go, "We're having a live stream of this." It's like, where? How? I don't understand. I'm old and confused.
It's like I'm old and confused. I'm just checking the Twitter names of the 3 people who started it. Full disclosure, I was one of them, so I obviously know nothing like this.
Full disclosure is not something you say to brag about things. Come on now, son.
Look, I'm proud.
Full disclosure, you should see the size of my knob. I mean, like...
Full disclosure, about 6 inches, but you know.
Gamergate is great.
Gamergate is great. So yeah, if you guys want to spread that, if anyone listening wants to use that, I'm being a shameless shill. Deal with it. It's my podcast. I'll do what the hell I want. I am Gamergate journalism. Okay.
By the way,
you are Gamergate. I am games journalism.
I am journalism.
See? But if Total Biscuit's Gamergate and Leigh Alexander is games journalism, then can't we just put them in the ring and have this done with?
It sounds a bit like a 300 parody, you know. Leigh Alexander saying we have to be biased because we need to change the masses for whatever bullshittery I'm going to say next, and then the Gamergaters come along. This is blasphemy. This is madness. And then she just goes, no wait, it doesn't make sense at all. Okay,
it is game journalism.
I'm looking for the pictures of Anita Sarkeesian and so on. I found the Sarkeesian one. I'm looking for the one with Jonathan Macintosh right now.
Oh yeah, no, the Macintosh one is fantastic. Whoever photoshopped them, you have earned your keep today, son. You've done good. You've done good.
Oh.
Great.
Oh, I tell you, Jonathan McIntosh is my hero in so many ways.
Oh, he's my spirit animal. He's my
Makes
spirit
me.
animal.
He makes me feel like the worst things I've ever done in my life weren't so bad. I mean, there are those times when I'd catch myself. I'd say one sentence, and then the very next sentence I'd say, and another thing I believe, and it's something that just blatantly contradicts the first thing, and then I'd stop mid-sentence with my eyes crossed, just going, "Oh, I'm a fucking idiot." And
I found
when you
I
said
didn't find
that,
one on computer.
he's put all that online. It's just beautiful. Like the
For some
whole,
reason,
I will
when you
not
said that,
support
my
the death of Osama bin Laden, but fucking that cunt, fucking burn you back. Like, it's just, what?
I found that
For some
person.
reason, my head went to something completely else. It was just like a slogan, just. Fucking hell.
Oh,
Jonathan McIntosh,
Oh.
making the Holocaust not seem so bad. It's just like. For some reason, that popped in my head. I don't know why. I've been hanging around in China culture too much.
that is actually pretty good. But, that picture is beautiful. Oh, I just got
It is,
wood.
isn't it?
I've already
Ah,
wanted an excuse to fap to Macintosh, and now I've got it.
Yeah, I'm about half chub right here.
I could fap on him and get my jizz in Bib's hair. Like, what more could you ask for?
It's like a beautiful
Yes.
threesome of the same person. Anyway. Anyway, yes, the Gamergate's hate t-shirts went up. Turns out that they were being promoted, and I think they were being funded by Leigh Alexander. I'm not sure if they were being funded, but definitely promoted through her. And turns out Gamergate's great t-shirts are starting to go on sale to be in competition with the original ones.
If anyone whoever listens to this, there is something worth investigating after.
Oh, yeah?
And that is, you do remember the do you remember the "This is what a feminist looks like" T-shirts?
Oh, I remember
and
that.
it turns out they were being made in sweatshops and stuff.
Exactly.
by brown women who
What I mean is,
get $1 a day and live in a dormitory that's attached to the factory. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
You know, what something that would be worth investigating after is how are these T-shirts, these Gamergaters hate T-shirts, made?
Yeah.
yeah,
definitely.
that would be fun.
Because if they're made through the same channels, they might be made the same way, but maybe even by the same people.
Well, I mean, in the end, they do love making their profits off their feminisms, or their SJW-ness, or their.
It's just this extremely sad irony of women that work in these factories, you know, working in these having to live under these conditions, but doing it for the sake of fighting oppression.
Yeah, it's like their whole, you know, we are the victims and their victim groups. I just started thinking about trannies again, and my first thought was their whole life is so bad for these people, and they're so downtrodden. Like, have you guys ever met a tranny? I mean, I've never met people with stronger and more vibrant personalities in all my born days. Like, if there are people that have had to go through that kind of thing to get to the point where they're like, and now I'm who I'm supposed to be. These are not people who I would see as lying down and letting someone else talk for them easily.
I'm sorry, I'm not so big on trannies, because I got most of what I ever heard or found out about trannies from Tumblr. So
Well, there's your problem.
Ooh.
I'm not
There's your
exactly very
problem.
positively standing to this.
All
very
problems.
concept.
Any problem anyone has with people of that nature normally stems from, well, I learnt about them from Tumblr, and it's just like, Tumblr,
Yeah.
you're not helping.
Or either that, or my personal favorite, and I think it's a valid thing. That's the other thing. Like, when I say valid, I mean it's not something that should necessarily be enforced, but it's something that's totally understandable and doesn't make anyone a bad person. And that is, I like tits. That dress looks fantastic, but I know you've possibly got a big fat cock under there, and that's kind of confusing and upsetting to me. It's someone took a cake, which I like, and I'm also pretty sure it's got a big piece of poo in the middle, which I don't like. Some people like poo cake, and they're allowed to like poo cake, but that just messes with my head. I can appreciate that. Me, it doesn't confuse, but I can see how, that would be kind of, it's some people like, why would you put pineapple on a pizza? In the same way, why would you put a dick in that broth?
It's problem, but I find the bigger problem is when it becomes avoidance of some sort of phobia as an excuse for wanting to as an excuse for entitlement, really.
Yeah.
Asking for romantic relationships with people who don't want to be with trans.
Yeah. It's like the whole
transphobia because of their personal preferences. Look, you can't take away people's preferences because they're problematic. We're seeing that more and more recently.
What do you mean you won't suck my dick? Like, are you homophobic? Like, that's not a valid position to take.
Because, for instance, Kelvin, you shouldn't forget to also include the article there you gave me, the one of the black woman who finds who is in a bit of a personal crisis because her sexual preferences are politically incorrect.
Yes, it was an article. For those listening, it was an article that a black woman had written, basically saying her sexual preference was white men, and that this was a problem because it promoted her her internal racism and misogyny, and saying that she was a problem. And the article read like she was self-hating and self-loathing because she had this preference.
Confessing to some great evil.
Yeah. Turns out I like the white meat. So I must.
This is the problem with elevating some preferences above others and demeaning others. It's like the whole when they say that 50 Shades of Grey is just domestic violence and sexual abuse. So all of a sudden every chick on the planet who likes to get spanked hates themselves and is an avid supporter of the patriarchy. Jesus, they should talk to some subs sometimes. They're, once again, some really comfortable with themselves people who know what's going on. It's like, this has nothing to do with my day-to-day thing. I'm the boss at my work. We've got equal employees. It just makes my pants happy. Nothing to do with my day job.
They do have a point, I think, with 50 Shades of Grey, but not to that extent. I mean, BDSM relationships, not an issue with that. If you want to do that in the bedroom, then fucking go ahead. More power to you. But specifically what I would be referring to is their idea of consent. And if you guys have read the books.
No.
If you guys have read the books, he does actually rape her.
They're not readable.
Oh no, I have read passages from the book because basically I heard so much controversy about it, and I was like, right, well, let's see exactly what this bullshit is. And they do actually have a point. He rapes her in the book. Like, he actually genuinely just rapes her. This by definition.
I am not surprised that in literary porn for women there are fantastical depictions of rape. Like, I mean.
Oh yeah, well obviously, but the problem is they don't.
To quote Ice-T, that one time he was against censorship back when he was on Oprah's show with Jello Biafra talking about Two Live Crew. He jumped up in the middle of Oprah talking, and for no apparent reason just exclaimed, "But Oprah, some women like to do it with a flashlight," and then sat down looking really proud of himself, as it should have been. Because it's just some people like shit. Some people like some really weird shit.
And that stuff is fine. The issue I have with 50 Shades of Grey is it doesn't show the safety side of it, and considering it's BDSM, which is physically quite risky. I mean, you are talking about self-harm for sexual pleasure, which is fine, but there are certain safety precautions you need to put in.
Like self-harm by proxy, which is where it gets interesting.
The thing is, you have to remember, it's essentially just a sexual fantasy for women, and
Yeah.
and all this sort of safety and consent stuff is a buzzkill for women. So
Yeah,
of course,
it's something they have. It's something they have to do in reality to be safe. But while they're having a fap, it's like thinking about the process of making a cup of tea. Or like, have you ever had a wank and thought about actually trying to pick up a woman, having to agree with her political views, buying her another drink, finding out yes, no, you're already at the point where you're shagging them. Somehow magically, all that boring shit's gone, and you're just at the fap worthy. In the same way, they're just skipping the bits that, you know, like fanny farts don't happen in porn for a reason. Realism's not helpful.
Wrong kind of porn.
There is no such thing, sir.
I just reminds me of
the wrong kind of porn is the stuff that takes too long to download.
No, that's the HD. That's the good shit. But yeah, the issue I have with it is also
shaving rash in
the issue I have
1080p.
Sorry. The issue I have with it is the consent stuff and the safety stuff. I mean, the UK is seeing a rise in sexual-related injuries due to 50 Shades of Grey.
I know.
Hilarious.
Everyone's having it.
Which is kind of damn funny, but still, if that's your first experience of BDSM, maybe take it slow. But that's the only issue I have with it. I still think it should exist. I still think it should be shown. I have no problem with it.
I think it's a bad ad for it. I mean,
yeah.
I've got friends who are in the scene who have problems with almost every depiction that's ever happened because there seems to be this universal trope of broken people. They've all got to be broken people with something fundamentally wrong with them in order for them to be into BDSM.
That's what you mean. Yes, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like they've got to have some mental illness, like daddy didn't love them. They got beaten as a child. There's some outside influence that comes in. Which
example,
you can't say that. You can't say that about gay people. It's not like mum didn't hug you enough, so you love.
In this particular example, it's because 50 Shades is really just. That's what I find sad about it. It's Twilight fan fiction.
Oh yeah,
It started off as a Twilight fan fiction that due to copyright issues was then rewritten into a book of its own. And what I find sad about it is for the first really big novel to come out of the field of fan fiction, that this is what people get to see. And when people think of the concept of fan fiction turning into genuine prose, they think of that. That's what I find sad.
Well, yeah. That's sad and accurate.
Well, there is actually really good fan fiction out there, like genuinely good fan fiction here and there. It's just rare.
There's
some slash out there that's great. I think my girlfriend put me onto some bit done by some guy. I think I saw it on Live Journal of all places.
Shit, yeah, there's fucking slash fiction out there. There's slash fiction.
It was about who's it? Xander and Spike, and it actually takes place in the gaps in an episode between scenes, and takes advantage of actual odd looks between them and weird, just it was actually poorly scripted and oddly directed episode, if anything, and so you could get this weird subtext that something else was happening between these two in this one episode, and it's just someone filling in these blanks about their gay love.
I really find it sad that these kinds of story categories always devolve into slash. That's what I find very sad.
Mm.
Oh, I love a good bit of terrible slash because it's just someone's creepy fat fiction. But my favorite thing about it conceptually is it always goes to really creepy places without being dealt with because it's nearly always women doing it. Like somehow you know what's one of the biggest ones is Supernatural.
Oh yeah.
And it's because both the guys are hot, but they're fucking brothers. So they're allowed to women are allowed to objectify these men who are brothers who work together and have issues into their own weird gay incest fantasy, and that's perfectly okay and says nothing untoward about female sexuality. But man, we're all evil and we fap over some really creepy shit. It's like, not sure how well that stands up.
But yeah, I know there have been slash fiction written about me, and that was quite
What?
bizarre.
What?
Really?
What?
Yeah, the slash fiction written about me.
That is a claim to fame I wish I had.
It was quite something. It was me and a guitarist in an old band I used to be in, and he was the bitch. So I guess that was something.
Yeah, you gotta take what you can out of that situation.
I'll take that. I mean, I won't take that, I guess, because he's the bitch. He'll take that, but you know what I mean.
You did tell her that was creepy, didn't you?
Oh no, it was quite something. Me and him read it together, and we said, "What the fuck is going on?"
I would find this very creepy.
It definitely was. I couldn't read it all. I had to stop.
The thought of someone spending so much time just writing something like that about you, there's just...
Well,
I don't know, I
fair,
find this all very distressing.
That's the way girls do it. It's creepy. Us guys will just look at a pair of girls and go, "Wouldn't it be awesome if they made out with each other?" But we won't then write a story about them shagging each other and present it to them as, "You've got to read this." Like, we know better than to do that.
Yeah.
Well, most
Anyway,
yeah. Got to be something.
Well, then you got the bronies, and then there's a whole other level.
Let's not include the horses.
Yeah.
The back on topic.
Yes. We went way off topic there. Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where is the topic from here again?
I think it's something to do with video games. I don't know.
Last thing was Gamergate is great, but I think we still have two major things before we.
How the fuck did we go from Gamergate is great to slash fiction? Anyway.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to listen.
Sure, we can autopsy it later.
Alright, so next thing we've got on the list here is Gorka unintentionally gives possible reason for not paying their interns. One of their old articles basically said, I think from 2005, so way before Gamergate, state that interns aren't paid employees and are hence not given the same employee rights as paid ones, and therefore are not protected under the law for sexual harassment. Now, Gorka don't pay their interns. Cough, cough, cough. Maybe it's because you're not giving them the same rights as your paid ones for some reason.
That's helpful for some reason. It's profitable on two fronts.
That's a double-edged sword, because on one hand that you're suggesting a plan, and I can see that, but it's a double-edged sword, because what you're saying is that we would get feminists in on this to see if they could unearth sexual harassment occurring on female interns during their time on Gorka, to cause a big backlash against Gorka from the side of feminists, which would be very negative to them, because then they would lose touch with groups like Wham.
Yeah, they run screaming from criticising themselves in public.
That is a double-edged sword, because they might turn this into stop slut shaming the interns.
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off with the whole slut shaming idea. Not you specifically, just those people. Yeah. Those people.
They might turn it into that if we'll go that way.
Well, see, they make the mistake, and this is a really, really, really profound mistake. They make the mistake that some of us, if not a lot of us, find sluts awesome, and that they're the greatest. They're God's gift to a hungry Wang, and bless them, everyone. I used to be a massive slut. I'm not so much now, but I used to be. It's a thing. It's a definition of a thing. If you have a little bit of trouble saying no, or even thinking of a reason why you'd want to, then it probably applies. It's not a bad thing. Don't disagree with it. Pointing out where it might have issues isn't a bad thing. It's like, I agree with MMA. I like MMA. Two grown men consensually punching each other in an octagon is fine. If they start elbowing people randomly in public, I've got a problem all of a sudden.
Everything that involves promiscuity or hints at promiscuity. For instance, women getting into a position that specifically does not protect them from sexual harassment. Everything that involves promiscuity is given a layer of sanctity within them. That's why in conspiracy times it was always crying about how we were all just slut shaming Zoe Quinn.
Yeah, because it was all about Zoe Quinn somehow. Keep focusing on the poor innocent woman.
In the beginning it was, but she wasn't innocent. That's the point. But the thing is. The thing is, they made it all about slut shaming, while completely forgetting what the Five Guys and two Greyhound buses thing was about. A major case of bribery. So that was irrelevant to them because promiscuity was involved. Hence, the sanctity veil was cast over it.
I love the fact that they just walked away from, on that one in particular, what they walk away from is her stated position on what constitutes rape, including, having sex with other people. And it's a feminist defined rape and then did it. And then acknowledged that they did it. And they're still like, stop slut shaming. Just leave the women alone. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's the problem.
What I'm wondering is if we might not by poking too much at this one be walking into some dubious trap in which they claim that we're trying to somehow victim blame the interns because they knew they were getting into a situation where they couldn't be legally protected for being sexually harassed, and why do we hate interns? And you're like, what? But yeah, it's not like they haven't done that to us before.
Yes, I think I know what you're proposing, but it sounds to me like a double-edged sword.
Well, it was just the idea that that they are doing it in order to not let the employees have certain rights.
But you're right. You should send that to WAM and NOW, but they're not going to do anything.
But still, it is a good point. They are, one way or another, they're exploiting vulnerable women without defending their rights and actively seeking to, utilize them in ways that keep them in the shadows and so forth.
The thing is, even if we were to use that, who would we go to? Where would we bring this? Who would give this any attention?
AVFM probably, unfortunately, but they probably be the way to pitch every fucking third sentence.
It would have to be feminist, but it would have to be non-networked feminist. That's the problem.
Yeah, you'd have to find some standalones.
NOW, WAM, they're all not going to do anything. Feminist Frequency is certainly not going to do anything.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Goldberg. Seriously.
Bless her. She's a nut.
Yes, I just think who
he's the one person who can actively be a rape apologist and simultaneously have them use those words.
Panic? Who would willingly start a moral outcry over Gorka? Who would, wait, the Twitter feminists. That's it.
Maybe the Tumblrites. The Tumblrites could go nuts.
They'd devolve instantly into discussions on who offended who while talking about the very thing that we give them. No, the Twitter feminists.
Yeah, true.
They're easily made into creating an outrage over stuff.
So what do? Sock puppet and start a hashtag?
For instance,
Because if it comes from a Gamergator, it's already tainted by the patriarchy.
Yes.
Well, I had some...
Even if it comes from a black female, crippled, trans, lesbian helicopter. Whose one was that? Yeah, Helicopterkin. That is just. Mwah, I'm all over that.
Well, yes, it's at least not as crazy as the trans nigger. At least that.
Yes! Oh, yes, the trans nigger. Oh, please, more of that Tumblr, please.
What?
Did you
what now?
Yes,
have you
I can prove it.
that?
I have the means to prove this. Wait a minute.
It's white people who are inside, they are black. It's like, men who think they're women, except it's white people who think they are black and think that racism applies to them because they think they are black. It's beautiful. It's so good.
So that, basically.
Wait a minute. I have that. Wait a minute. I need to open the Magic's Movie Edit Pro.
Yes, and also Minor Self-Indulgence is a great band, but yes.
But yeah, that track just puts it wonderfully. It's like, if you can be what you want to be, like you tell me that little Jimmy isn't a 6'8" black guy inside. Like, come on.
Hey man, we're all black when the lights go down.
No, I've got to send Jacob that thing because that was really a thing. I can prove it to him.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm just still offended that I got upgraded. Somewhere in there, SJWs were randomly upgraded due to white. Like, Jew just became white. And, like, I've seen people say it. Like, now in the modern age, all of a sudden, 10 years after I was cool, all of a sudden I hear people say, well, I'm just a white Jew, so what would I know? It's like, we weren't let into country clubs in the 50s. Like, we were massively discriminated against in every country for being, evil and icky and Jewy and stuff. And, people had to change the names to get in the entertainment industry. When did we suddenly just when did the upgrade occur, and why wasn't I notified? That's what I want to know.
Well, it definitely is going to occur.
There was that thing that happened with the Jews that sort of showed how much people hate them. I can't remember. I think it was the Schmollerkost or something.
No, but we took. To be fair, we did take Israel over and start being mean to brown people. That was kind of, and the left were not impressed with that at all. And rightly, I'm not entirely on side with that whole let's make our own ghetto kind of thing. Like,
bring it on.
The thing is, I can tell you now already. Firstly, majority of the Jews are of course white. That's one thing. Secondly, they can be quite exclusionary when it comes to who gets to marry who. So they are kind of.
Oh yeah.
Some of them do look after racial purity. And
yeah, that's kind of white.
And
we also dance.
I can imagine that at some point they're going to introduce Jewish privilege and how you are overprivileged if you're Jewish, and hence need to acknowledge your privilege and understand if people discriminate against you.
Yeah, I'll have to check my concentration camp survivor fucking descendant privilege, because I get to call people on anti-Semitism, and not everyone can do that. So logically,
the shock from the Holocaust is really what's currently protecting the Jews in general from political correctness as of yet. But that's going to blow over eventually, and then it's going to be about Jewish privilege and so on.
But that's not Jew privilege. That's our thing. We started it. Like, this is what we were talking about before the podcast. There's so many things that the SJWs do now that's like, hey, that was our trick. Fucking give it back. Stop stealing our stuff. Like, stop being Jewy and share our shit with us.
Wayback Machine. I can prove that the trans nigger thing happened.
Oh yeah, no, that was the thing.
That doesn't even vaguely surprise me on any level.
I'll show you later. But okay.
It's a logical outgrowth of being a dickhead.
It's people wanting to be minorities. They want that minority privilege. So.
Well, people have made it so
well,
attractive.
lack of privilege.
You know, you don't have to
Privilege is
check your
one
white
thing.
privilege if you're black. You can actually say things that are fact and have people listen to you. Hell, you can say bullshit and have them listen.
Privilege and racism are and all these kinds of words really just are modern iterations of what used to be called sin.
Yes.
Yep.
We used to call them heretics. Now we call them misogynists. That's sort of how it's gone. All right. On to the next thing. Geez, we have so much to cover. This is a long episode.
Yeah, this is a very long episode.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had breakfast, and thanks to misogyny, my girlfriend bought me a cup of tea earlier, so that was nice.
Nice representing the patriarchy. I like it.
Under the boot. just don't let her hear me say that.
You don't have a chair right now, do you? You're just sitting on top of her.
Oh, not her. I got her one of her lesser friends in. I mean, she's white. Come on, like, I've got standards.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
See, that's it. If I saw that in text, I would be like shitposting outrage at the person who typed it for weeks. But verbally, perfectly valid.
Just so you know, we are still live. Just so you know.
Oh, I'm well aware. I've said worse in the back of a truck while not meaning it. To explain to everyone very, very briefly and succinctly, me and my other grew-up left-wing, white guilt-having, male and ashamed of it friends had this game, and the game was whoever says the most unsayable thing and makes everyone else blanch wins. It was just who can poke everyone else's white male guilt the hardest, and that's all it was. And a friend finally won with the generic racial slur that you can use for anyone of any race, even if they're your own race. They think you're racist the moment you say it, while it has no actual. It's just rock ape. Every country has rocks. Everyone sees ape as some kind of dehumanizing, racist-y sort of thing. So you just call people rock ape and you'll watch. It doesn't matter what race you say it to. They will be like, you fucking said, what honky bam? Like,
well, what word is so bad that it insults everyone? What can...
Well, that one gets every race, but I don't know what would get every gender. That's got to be the current
asshole.
Sort of
asshole. Everyone's got an asshole.
Oh, okay.
Well, everyone's got an asshole, but the weird thing is it's got to be gendered to be sexist, but you've got to have it be so vague simultaneously as to be universal.
I guess the phrase "you take it up the asshole," because maybe. But anyway, off the whole Cards Against Humanity thing. On to
It turned out to be an SJW.
yeah, just a general quick PSA. There's a image floating around right now, which is apparently from Kotaku, with the headline "Killing female characters in online games should be considered rape, or should it be considered rape?" General PSA: it's fake, it's photoshopped. I've just seen a lot of people think it was real, so just PSA: it's photoshopped.
Certainly funny. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd actually done it, but...
Well, no, the sad thing is I actually had to go check. I was like, is this real? Is this not? I don't know, because it does seem like something they would write. But no, it is fake, just so you know.
If the internet did nothing else for humanity, what it did is really, really, really expose everyone who's sort of normal, who doesn't have to deal with proper crazy on a daily basis, to how much crazy there really is, and just how crazy can be.
Alright, on to the next thing, which is probably the one, Mozzie, you want to talk about, which is the Gamergate troll turns out to be a failed comedian. Do you want to... You know more about this than I do.
Kowski.
Yes.
I was wondering if we should ask him to come on onto the Pretzels and Tea podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes, because he got his fingers burned. So
Oh, yeah, no,
it'd probably be a funny opportunity to ask him how he got into believing all this anti-Gamergate narrative stuff, because otherwise he wouldn't have started his what's the character called that he plays? Jace Connor? Is that
yeah,
name?
yeah. It's something like that. Yeah.
Yes, because that would have been something funny, because he got his fingers burned. He backed out.
So what's this whole deal? I missed all of this.
So there was this guy who obviously, it seemed like a troll, and to me it seemed like a troll. To everyone else it seemed like a troll, but he did it in all seriousness. He was a guy who seemed to be an absolute, your old wingnut, what's this totally MRA wingnut called? Kelvin, you know that stuff. What is he called? The one who always says everyone who disagree with me is a leftist, and everything is about the left.
Oh, wait, an MRA nut who thinks everyone...
Someone who was ratted out of the MRA because he was a bit of a wingnut. Yes.
And while you're at it, could you find me that goth girl with the black hair, cut in a bob? She wears a corset and fishnets a lot. Okay, thanks. Bye. I'm just pointing out that finding the MRA who's a wingnut and thinks everything's a leftist conspiracy might be a little too vague to narrow it down to just one.
Are you referring to the anarchist that whatchamacallit Thunderfuck called out?
You mean not
Molyneux?
Yeah,
not
he's
Molyneux. Oh, that guy's bunning me.
No, I forgot his name. I'll find it later on. But there are wingnuts, people who are absolutely right on every issue. The topic doesn't matter. They have to stick to the partisan.
Well, that's the idea of That's an idea.
They're the mirror image of the SJWs. They exist too.
There was this character, this Jace Connor character that made that somehow he played a in narrative old right wing nut job gamergator who hates women and is a gun enthusiast and everything is about partisan politics. And then he made a video of how his car crashed and how he blames Brianna Wood, is driving to Brianna Wood to attack Brianna.
Oh, that guy, that troll.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Then Brianna Wu actually took some serious steps regarding that, and then he backed out and admitted, actually, I'm Jan Rankowski and I'm a comedian. I play this character for $1 Million Extreme. And
he was like all like, I pose with knives and guns and call myself Sergeant this and.
I'm saying all this because this is getting too dangerous for me. I'm backing out. Yeah. That's really what happened to me.
I found that hilarious because it was like overshooting beyond even taking Colbert seriously. Because I mean, the guy's threat rant video was that his car broke down because Brianna Wu knew he was coming to try and beat her in a street race and sabotaged his tire or something. Like, it was like, how
do you take it seriously?
Yeah, well, it's more like, how are you threatened by such a fuckwit? Like, I mean,
and
the thing
the car can't break down without blaming you.
The thing I'm really confused by is Brianna Wu ended up getting a restraining order out on this guy, but obviously when she got the restraining order out, she'd yet to discover he was a comedian. So she managed to get a restraining order out on a person that doesn't exist, on this character.
So she's got a restraining order against like
Harry
fucking
Potter.
Borat.
Yeah,
Harry Potter and Borat. It's like,
I guess Borat would meet it more accurately, yes.
Yeah, she got a restraining order out on Borat, and for some reason the legal structure or the legal team behind this restraining order didn't think, maybe we should check out who this person is before we suddenly just go, yep, restraining order. Like, maybe we should check out who this person is and see if they're a fucking comedian.
Doesn't a restraining order require a judge to approve it?
Yeah. The judge obviously...
There was a judge who just listened and believed. A judge who listened and believed.
Yep. Listen and believe, and now he's looking like a fucking idiot.
Judges sort of have to in that circumstance to be weirdly fair. Like, I don't want to get into any of the politics behind them, like ABOs existing and whatnot, and restraining orders and everything. But when you look at the circumstance itself, you've got a situation where someone's saying, "I might die if you don't get this." It's not the same as convicting anyone of anything, or even saying that they actually did it. Just saying that I'm scared of them. That's all that needs to be proven, and the judge that doesn't, the one time you don't, and that person gets murdered, how fucked on are you at your job? Like, that's career ending.
The problem
that's
is
like, I questioned it, and she got murdered. I'm a dickhead. So you just go, yeah.
That's not the judges. That's not the judges.
Judges don't do any judging when it happens. It's just a rubber stamp. It's quite literally just, can I have a restraining order, please? At least in my country, and I know in other countries with people I've talked to, it's literally, I'm scared of them. All right, right. They're not allowed to be scary anymore.
The practice is wrong to me. Then even if the person gets killed, the judge did the right thing. Because you can't start convicting people just to be sure. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and it's on your record forever and so forth. But it's not a conviction, so it's not real. I'd love to rant on this one, but I'll end up sounding like an MRA in about 5 minutes.
My take on that is just it opens a gateway, because once you allow this kind of practice, this kind of we're gonna make convictions just to be sure. How is that not going to end up in
false positive land? Yeah.
No. I mean, look. Imagine one demographic in a country makes themselves particularly unpopular, and then the public starts getting more and more paranoid and more afraid of them, and then they start. Maybe we should start convicting them and putting them under the death penalty or something like that, just to be sure that they're not going to harm us anymore. And yes.
I'm waiting for the first time it hilariously happens with a white person who can't tell black people apart and gets a restraining order against one of them, and then keeps calling up the police to arrest people who look kind of like that guy.
Yes,
he's stalking me again. He's definitely still black.
No,
this is something that is very dangerous, and I think really this. Then the practice is wrong, because
it isn't. It's horrible, but it's one of those. Maybe it's just for me, and from where I've lived, like despite my reasonable tones and not sounding like your usual fucking Aussie, I've spent most of my time around lower socioeconomic groups, and the whole thing's rampant down here. It's basically, it's one of your classic backhanded, I broke up with my boyfriend because he was mean to me, or he caught me cheating and I hate him, or whatever. It's just, it's an automatic reflex almost. It's on a par with burning your ex's clothes, or, fucking his best friend despite him or anything. There's a certain type of person that gets vengeful when they break up, and that automatically happens. It's just, it's de rigueur here.
If that were to happen, if it's that easy, who's if in a completely different situation, completely outside of Gamergate, if someone decided to use that to get at a person, what's preventing them from constructing a fictional character, committing a crime as that fictional character, and if no one finds out, the perfect crime is achieved?
That's actually awesome, because they've legally treated that person as a real person. They've legally accepted the existence of this human. They've named them on court papers. They must exist. Like, it's a weird thing, but it's true.
Too unprofessional. And
yeah.
I would leave it at that.
Welcome. Yeah, let's focus on the ethics in gaming. If we start getting into the ethics of the judiciary, fucking Corkygate will take us a little longer, I think, than Gamergate ever does.
We'll be here all day. Well, to line it up, I think, after that dark, deep discussion, let's go back to Leia Alexander for the last piece of news, last piece of light news I really have. because everyone loves Leigh Alexander. Recently, she decided to go on a bit of a rant on Twitter against
really?
one.
Huh?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? Against one Total Biscuit.
Oh.
Really? She too?
Yes.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
Giving it-
Saying that he had an easy life and was privileged. Keep in mind, this is Total Biscuit, the guy that has cancer. The guy that has cancer. Fucking halfway. Yeah.
Alexander, what are you doing?
There was
Yeah,
that guy that tried that on Kern as well. That was funny.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Oh,
Yes.
That was gold.
Can I just?
But yeah, we'll stick on point. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just point out that Leigh Alexander, he basically decided to basically say, I think one of the last comments of this rant was "Total Biscuit, more like Total Chode." If you look at Total Biscuit's new Twitter name, it is now Total Chode. You just embraced it. I love it.
I was actually talking with my girlfriend only last night about that. If there's one thing I love about Gamergate is that we are quicker than other repressed minorities by far.
Oh yeah, no.
Yep. Call me nigger, I'ma call me nigger. Call me queer, I'm gonna be for queer pride. Call me shitlord, I'm calling all my friends shitlord in 2.4 seconds.
Just look at all the freaking hashtags that Anti-Gamergate have come out and what they've ended up doing.
Yep.
It's like it's like the Zero Biscuit thing. We decided, hey, let's set that up to be a feed the world thing against world hunger. Instead of making it Zero Biscuit, let's make it Full Biscuit or Total Biscuit maybe.
As we speak right now, there seems to be this hashtag going around called Leigh Alexander.
Yes, Leigh Alexander.
As in I got Leigh Alexander.
I believe that most of
and all I got for it was this lousy Gamergate is hate t-shirt.
all the whatchamacallit, Leigh Alexander, the actual hashtag, majority of what it seems to be referring to is just alcohol and just booze.
Yes.
All right, I got totally Leigh Alexander last night. I can't believe the shit I said.
Wasted. Yes.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Incidentally, off that, my favourite pro-social justice thing that has happened accidentally through the SJWs is the removal of the word retard. I don't even use retard 90% of the time anymore. I use Macintosh. So, yep, you never go full Macintosh. It's just, he did everyone who doesn't like that word and wants it policed out of the language such a huge favour.
Mm.
No, I'll stick to retard. Macintosh, full Macintosh for me really stands for crazy, not retarded.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something about the lack of self-referential that is so daft, though. I love it. And he'll
just
tweet.
complete lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, it's like, tweet, contradictory tweet. Somehow contradicting the last two tweets. How is that possible? He's a genius of stupid.
Alright, let's move on to the last topic I actually have here. I think have we covered all of these?
I have two.
We have. Oh, well, great. That's another hour. The last one I have, which may be the same as one of yours, is the idea is that console gamers are now being attacked. War has been declared on console gamers. Yeah, the thing you linked me to.
Yes, I linked you to the. I put it in the chat. Where is it? I've got it. Look over the chat.
I'll grab
Where is it? Archive today.
So wait,
okay, now.
Who declared war on the console gamers? Because I mean, that's hardly news. I've been a member of the. I've been a proud card-carrying member of the PC Gaming Master Race for some time. I mean,
Ah,
just because our war has gone nowhere doesn't mean I haven't been at war with them.
You're talking about PC Master Race. Really, just don't really care that much. And they sometimes are angry when a game only comes out for consoles, but that's really it. But here, well, I've linked it in the chat. You can read it here. One of these journalists in a game in an article on a site that actually isn't even really about gaming, but the journalist is, and he's obviously either following or linked in that progressive network. Who knows? Maybe he's even in the GJP.
So
it's an open declaration of war on console games and console game publishers because to him the majority of console players are male, and men are of course what we want to get out of gaming. So so
too many men.
What we need to get rid of is the publishers of the consoles, especially the Xbox and the PlayStation. So you can see the article right before your very eyes.
So now they've gone past devs and onto hardware.
Really?
They're actually like Xbox is the problem, PlayStation is the problem. Then they've gone beyond like people who develop games for, and have somehow the hardware's to blame. It's
Yep.
oh
me,
oh my.
You're
You might as well call Facebook sexist because some people say sexist things on Facebook.
No. His argument is that the vast majority of console players, the big console players, are male, and because gender equality means getting men out of gaming, we need to the consoles need to go. The publishers need to be somehow taken down.
So that's
an open declaration of war on console publishers.
Oh, they're picking a fight with the dude bros. Oh, they're going to level up all over this.
They're awaking the old ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, they're going to get called fags so much more often than they expected.
What we should do is put this article around and ask the progressive news outlets, the other outlets, and the other journalists what they think about this topic and how they stand to it.
That's actually
because then they can only have two choices. Either they condemn it and indirectly condemn him, because as we know, these people need to agree with each other on everything, or else they're shitlords.
Yeah, basically, it's agree on everything, or
either they make him a shitlord, or they go on board with this.
I hope they go on board. I predict that they would go on board. It's got all the right buzzwords. It's got all the right ideas. I mean, they were all like clapping. Like I've got a feminism equals equality friend. Well, when I say a friend, since I mentioned that I was pro Gamergate, I haven't got a single text from them, and it's been months now. So I'm not sure if they're a friend anymore.
I guess the best way to summarize it is. You must join feminism. Feminism is your friend.
Yeah, but the whole she always did the whole. But I'm a reasonable feminist. No, I'm pro-sex. No, I don't think that. No, I think men should be allowed to do things. No, I don't hate men. And she was being honest on all of those. She's just so indoctrinated. She always ends up gravitating to the party line. And crap, where was I even going?
If you look at this article, all the buzzwords, it sounds like your old Macintosh-inspired progressive game journalist article.
Yeah, it fits all the things. So yeah, burn those Jews. I mean, male gamers.
What?
I mean, consoles. We don't hate men. We just that was the one. Yeah, it was a Jessica Valenti article. She was like, I pointed my friend at a Jessie Valenti article where she was saying that the way we should solve the pay gap is to just pay women more than men.
Oh yeah.
And she said, unironically and seriously, this solves the problem. And I referred my friend to that, and she was like, "Oh, I love her." I'm like, oh. You just can't point them at their own stupid. The more stupid it is, but in line with their stuff, the more they go, oh, that seems like a perfectly valid thing to do.
And
so this article will, I personally, I put money on it if I did that sort of thing. That they'll just, Leigh Alexander would be all over it. Like
this article it contains everything. It's really one-to-one what we're dealing with, and it's openly declaring war on console games, and actually it makes a certain degree of anti-Gamergate hypocrisy very obvious, extremely obvious. Actually, even before that, everything around Gamergate, the core of the enemy narrative has always been that it's about getting women out of gaming, that this is the goal. Yep. And now here you have an article that openly pursues the goal of getting... Yes. Yes. You're getting the point of it, don't you?
Yep. It's yep. I love it. This is good.
Here's the excerpt making it the most obvious. The three biggest genres in retail HD hardcore sales are shooters, action, and sports games. That the audience for these genres were overwhelmingly male came as no surprise to me, but the gender imbalances were worse than I should have guessed. The HD shooter audience is 78% male, the HD action game audience is 80% male, the HD sports game audience is 85% male. All this data represents core gamers. Hardcore gamers are referred to as heavy use gamers, according to Nielsen's data. And so on and so on. It's, okay.
Yeah, covering up whether or not women are overreported. But yeah, it does actually state it. I skimmed through it and I actually saw the line of what we need to do is get men out of gaming.
So this is a big...
We just want our own space. We just happen to want it on your couch where you're sitting. Yep. Fuck off already.
We just want our space, and we don't want to pay rent. Yep.
I'm completely on board with Short Fat Otaku on that. It's complete bullshit, and as soon as they got any foothold, they started trying to not just add content, but take away content.
Yes.
It was all about censoring from the start.
I'm all for more games. Like, I own Gone Home. I quite enjoyed Gone Home. That's fine. I'm fine with more games. Just stop trying to take away other ones.
Look, it's like when people go like Movie Bob with his whole the only true art is art that I like because I think it's arty thing, yeah. And it's like, yes, I love stuff like I watch Breaking Bad till the cows come home. That's some confronting and nasty stuff, and it's emotional and it's driven, and it's deep, and it's beautiful and it's wonderfully shot and well acted and directed and so forth. But sometimes I just want to sit back, watch King of the Nerds, and laugh at stupid people doing stupid stuff. Sometimes I don't have it in me, and I want to be entertained. Yet sometimes I want to play Civ 5 and be really into trying to engineer my society in a specific way and make it succeed regardless of who else is around. And sometimes I just want to run through Torchlight 2 just poking at stuff with my mouse until it goes squish. Don't take away my options. I like options.
Yeah.
They want you. They know that the options they have to offer, people are not going to naturally take because they're just simply not good. So they need to censor what competition they have.
Cough, cough, depression quest, cough. So if I wanted a depression simulator, what I'd do is wake up in the morning, roll a d6, and if the number lands on anything other than 6, congratulations, I've got myself a depression fucking simulator right there.
Yes, but have you ever
I'm just saying, statistically, I'm more than a little depressively oriented and need to make a lot of effort to not be. I do, and I like it.
Have you ever read / played / watched Depression Quest?
What, Depression Quest?
The writing of Depression Quest is really low fan fiction tier.
Yeah.
And it's not really anything more than writing, because it's just a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, my best friend who I'm waiting for to catch up, Like, and I could get into all the number of reasons why he's so in the perfect place to go, wait a minute, some of what feminism tells me might not be right, but he's where I used to be, and I can't really argue with it just because I beat him to the punch. But yeah, he played Depression Quest and was like, I thought it was really good, and it's like, dude, you know good from not good. I've seen the writing in it. It's not good. It's like, no, but it really makes you... It's like, no, what it simulates, as far as I can tell, is being simultaneously depressed and a talentless shithead. When you combine both of them, why would you bother getting not depressed? Like, and if you really write that badly, you kind of deserve to wake up every morning thinking shit. I mean...
Yes, but generally... The common theme is the games they have to offer usually don't have much to offer. So of course they need to censor the competition.
I find it's not so much the games they have to offer specifically. I think it's the ones who are big on anti-Gamergate and I'm oppressed are the ones who know their games are shit. So they're trying to push their games through this weird backdoor of be a good boy and play my game. Show that you like the women's and play my game and support it. Like, you know, fucking Revolution 60, dig. God, watch the playthrough. I can never unwatch that. I demand the right to be able to sue over non-unwatchability. It's in there and it's never coming out.
I'm not going to watch the game itself. I watched the trailer and I saw the hypocrisy instantly, and I said, okay, no, we're not giving this any attention. Then, unfortunately, Gators gave it attention.
Look, ugly,
it en masse.
Yeah, ugly, confusing, poorly written, against its own, you know, supposed narrative, all of that stuff. You know, bad graphics. I can almost take all of that, but then I watch and it's like, it's bad, it's derivative, and it's clearly laggy, and one of those games that's frustrating. But I pressed the button, why didn't it work? Like, it just hits everything. All it needs is some on-disc DLC that you have to pay to unlock, and we'd have set it on fire by now.
It's just... Yes, but my suspicion initially was that this is all economically motivated, but this is also there. But it's only a side thing, as it turns out.
It's a mental market share thing. It really is. It's a Rebecca Watson put it best with her great line when defending Atheism Plus to everyone, saying, "Listen, you well-meaning leftist, white male,
who's interested in
skeptic, who's interested in social justice and skepticism, but finds it distasteful to hear about feminism. You are worse than rape threats." It's like, that's what we want to get rid of. What we want to get rid of is everyone pointing out that we're boring and annoying.
Yeah,
why?
Because anyone they disagree with.
Yeah, well, we hear that all the time, and it's really frustrating. So if you could stop telling us the uncomfortable truth, that would be great. Who walks home after a party and goes, you know what, I was sort of talking to this girl and I thought I might pick up, but then this other girl came up and talked to me about the last 50 years of oppression against women, and it was just so fascinating. I had a great night.
Started talking to me about women, and then I ripped off my shirt and just said, "Take me now."
Yeah. I couldn't imagine how that would even work. Wouldn't she start bitching about objectification even upon meeting her? Because
well, that's why you just initially grease up and bend over. You know which way around it's got to go.
You've got to sort of show up and just sort of immediately put the horse blinkers on, so you don't look at her and you can't objectify her. It's really
that wouldn't work either, because I've already seen them talk about how even the act of asking a woman out is objectifying her indirectly, because the intent. Regardless of how distant, intent is sexual. And hence
what you got to do is not apologize the entire conversation. So it's a sort of weird nodding, sorry, yeah, we're bad, yeah, we're terrible. You do all of that, and then in order to have sexual relations with her, what you do is when she then writes an article on why won't any good men hit on me, you fap to it. And the cycle is completed and a new generation will spawn.
This doesn't sound very good to me.
Well, what? So you're not automatically turned on by that? Are you some kind of misogynist? Do you hate women?
It all comes out now.
I no. This is nothing I can really.
Why do you hate women? Why are you looking at my breasts?
This sounds extremely stupid.
Yes, this is starting to devolve into chaos and anarchy.
And,
and we can't have that because then the ant cats will come in and
there is another topic that I have to introduce, and that is an article that I linked above. It's the Adland article. It should be, yes, it's there.
Yes.
This is interesting because Mark Kern, of all people, linked this article.
Mark Kern linked this?
Yes. Mark Kern, of all people. Look it up yourself if you doubt it.
You've not lied to me yet, Mozzie. I don't.
Look it up. It's in his feed. This article clearly criticizing Gawker and telling people to back off from that site, from all the clickbait stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty damning article. I didn't know Mark Kern had retweeted it though, or did he retweet it, or was it tweeted out by him? Oh no, he was tweeted out by him 5 hours ago. Yeah.
Oh, yep, he's gone full pro. I've never seen it happening because I'm not on Twitter, so I've never seen it happen as it happens. But the pattern is almost universal. Someone comes out reasonable and neutral and goes, "Hey, you guys, you're both being crazy. Could you both calm it down a notch?" And Gamergate goes, "Where were we being crazy per se? Could you point at it because we'd like to know?" And the other side just spews fire and lasers shoot out of their eyes and vaginas at them, and it sounds like, you know, every monster from frickin' Godzilla all screaming at once, and then they go, "Oh, right, I thought neutral was the reasonable position."
Never mind.
Never mind. I'm just going to be over here with these sane people pointing at you and going, "What the fuck's with those guys?" Like,
I'll chill with these people who won't eat me with their vaginas. I'm fine here.
Yeah, and the only people who do those whole, and then I left Gamergate because I discovered I couldn't get a job out of it.
Well, yeah, like Randy Harper got fired through Gamergate.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Randy Harper, for those of you who don't know, is the woman who started off the Gamergate block list. Was it 2 women who did the Gamergate block list? I thought it was just Randy Harper.
No, Randy Harper is 2 women.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not fat shaming. I'm not fat shaming. I'm just giving her the power her mass deserves.
I'm giving her the power her mass deserves. That's brilliant.
2 women taped together. She should get 2 votes. I mean, she takes up 2 seats on a plane. There's, let's be reasonable about these people.
But yeah, basically, she got fired because she was spending too much time on Twitter, basically bitching to Gamergate, and because of that, she got fired. I thought that was quite nice.
Not enough time actually working.
And because of the block bot.
Yes, and that
also becoming too much of a negative light on her company.
But
we have coders that are this bad.
The traditional
and that's when
line,
they're passionate.
The traditional line they went with was she was spending too much time fucking on Twitter.
Getting harassed.
Bullshit. That was the official line they went with. Obviously, the bot did have definite things, definite influence on that decision. But yeah.
Gawker et al. Not your friend. Yes, generally, Mark Kern is increasingly going pro gaming. Of course, he's claiming he takes an aside, but he's including stuff that neutrals and anti-Gamergaters would never included in the stuff they will
Well,
write and retweet.
I mean, you can still technically be neutral and post that. What that implies is more than anything, he's anti-Gawker, which will be taken as pro Gamergate. But
I think the thing is just there's a certain kind of damning evidence that I think you can't post and genuinely want people to believe that you're neutral and not come off as a complete moron.
yeah, oh look, that's the way it's come down, and I accept that that's where we're at now. But that's from this weird definition. Neutrals currently are weirdly defined by people who still don't get called monsters by SJWs and simultaneously still claim not to agree with us. That's sort of the only position that's neutral, which is pretty much hugging up to the SJWs simultaneously trying not to piss off Gamergate. It's a weird tightrope walking act. It's not so much neutral as I want to be everyone's friend. It's that guy at the party who's like, oh yeah, I love football. Then another guy walks in, what do you mean you love football? Football's for dickheads. Yeah, football is pretty stupid, isn't it? It's just, sooner or later, someone's going to turn on him.
Just being a complete chameleon. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Mark Kern is neutral in the traditional sense, in that he's saying I am not aligning myself with these people and do not automatically agree with them. However, I have noticed you guys are a bunch of cunts.
Yeah,
well, I don't think a lot of Gamergate people automatically agree with everything Gamergate says. And if you do, don't. If you do, don't.
If there's one reason why I felt so at home and so welcome, is it's a bunch of people who occasionally have vitriolic abuse spewing arguments with each other on non-related topics, but can then completely nod next to each other and go, yep, we were all agreed that those guys are the bigger cunts.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference. Like, I've had so many disagreements with people in Gamergate, and 90 to 95% of the time, what happens is I disagree with them, we have a discussion, we agree to disagree, and then we go on with our lives. That's it! That's all we do! We don't fucking harass each other for days and days and days. We don't go on about it. We don't try to organise movements against each other. We just get on with our lives.
I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to organise some kind of putsch against the ANCAPs, but that's mostly because they don't have as many guns as they'd like, but they must have a lot of money if they're complaining that much about taxes. But even that's more loving mockery than anything else.
Yeah.
They mean well.
Well, I've problems with certain a couple of the Facebook groups. Like I don't know, recently they seem to have changed, but I used to have big issues with the Gamergate Ultras Facebook group. I was never a big fan of them.
Why that?
Sorry?
I'm with the Gamergate Ultras. Why?
I know you are. The reason I had issues with them is they seem to be focusing a lot on the literally who's and focusing more on the personal lives of these people rather than their professional lives, which is, in my opinion, what they should have been focusing on. Recently they seem to have backed off that side, and that's fine. And also there seemed to be a lot of transphobia on there, and I was not a big fan of that. But you know what happened? I just didn't join that group. I just stayed out of that group, and then I got on with my life. That was it.
Oh, see, the transphobia thing I see everywhere, and I'm still having trouble working out whether it's just the same thing as being unbearable faggots and everything else or not. Like, people just go, here's a thing I can say in 2 words that will make the hand-wringing people freak out. Like, it's that great of humour. So I've started trying to see it that way and only that way, and it makes my life more livable. They might mean it the other way, but if I take it that way, it doesn't matter. That's the great thing about offensive. Taken, not given. So they can be trying to be offensive to everyone. And if I just go, haha, good joke every time, it's really going to piss them off more than it pisses me off. So,
Maybe we should do that with Mr. Sarkeesian. We should do that with Anise Sarkeesian from now on. Maybe she's like, oh, toxic masculinity. Go, haha, you're so funny, and then just go on with our lives.
That's cute.
I'm afraid
That's
that was the approach. That and ignoring them was the approach for a long time, and it never worked.
Yesterday, my girlfriend put a spike heel boot in my crotch and made me shoot my toxic masculinity all over my belly button. You're so right, Anita.
These people and their ideology stuff needs to be taken seriously to me.
Yeah,
because the approach of ignoring or mocking them hasn't worked. Otherwise, comics wouldn't have been overrun. Sci-fi wouldn't have been overrun. So much stuff happened so much negative stuff happened because people thought just ignoring and mocking them makes them go away. But they don't. They don't go away.
It depends on power. I think that's the thing. It's like you can ignore and mock the creationists everywhere except that works everywhere except in the South in the States. Like if you're not American, you can't ignore and mock these people because they have no relevance and no power over us and no influence whatsoever, and fuck them, they're retarded. Whereas...
Well, no, if you live in the UK, they do. I mean, if you look at the recent...
Yeah, they've started getting in, and that's sort of the worry with all of this stuff. But the only other option is to take everything that could one day be a threat seriously, and I'm pretty sure that's how you end up an SJW.
Well, that's how you become...
That's how you end up just yelling at everything.
Yeah.
And having no joy in your life whatsoever, because there's always just the next fight and the next person who's thinking incorrect thoughts that might lead to dangerous ideologies. It's like, I'm just gonna do my...
It's these specific kinds of ideologies that are that probably survive because they're specifically geared towards exploiting certain weaknesses of the human mind. That's my theory on why they work, but they do work, and that's why those ideologies that do exist to me have to be taken seriously. That includes all radical ideologies.
Yeah, and you can't laugh off ISIS when they're only in the country next door. From here, it's easy to go, what a bunch of dickheads to some extent,
yes.
But yeah, I get that. I mean, that great Pastor Namolier thing. First I didn't stand up when they came for the communists because I wasn't a communist. Like, yeah, waiting for things to be threats isn't great. But the other thing is the other extreme of that, to my mind, is to be permanently crouched in a state of cat-like readiness, waiting for the next threat so you can pounce on it before it becomes a problem. And no joy in that, really, either. So I like to mix it up. I laugh at Sarkeesian.
I just think
laugh, I rage.
Laughing at ISIS is easy from here, yes, but when they're dragging you out to execute you on the field, it's not so funny anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's not only not funny, but also the power that humour has to ridicule all of a sudden kind of backfires when they're smacking your teeth out with the butt end of an AK. That's always one of it.
Similarly, if you're in a safe distance, like for instance in Germany, the social justice warriors don't have so much of a foothold. So from here, it's easy to mock them. But I know that if we let them flourish the way we've let them flourish for so long, they're gonna arrive here at some point.
The Germans are great on that front. They've had extremism. They've known how bad it gets, and they're just, we don't like that anymore. They've
very recently had extremism twice from opposite sides of the political spectrum. That's probably why they're more immune to it.
Yeah, they don't like it. It just reminds them of the bad thing.
First they had the
50 years of trying to prove Germany's not about that.
And then they had the communists in East Germany. They had it twice.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're well loved.
Because the communists in East Germany, they also did the whole thought suppression thing. The whole thought suppression thing in terms of they weren't so big on killing people, but they were big on locking people up for having thoughts that were dangerous. Dangerous in terms of it questions the business plan.
When they got the FSB's files, it turned out that numerically something like a quarter of East Germany was being paid by the Secret Service to inform on other people.
Yes.
guys,
that's some whack jobbery.
as interesting as this is, I think that's all the
It's a
Gamergate
bit
stuff
off.
we have. Yeah, it's
Okay,
very.
and that too.
I think we'll call it a night there. This has been.
Yeah, or a morning.
This podcast has been derailed more than usual, but on to interesting topics, I definitely hope. See everybody next week. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.
Yeah.